WOW, Omaha. Lincoln, and the surrounding 5-state area. This is your new afternoon routine. Handley and Hansen. On AM 590. WOW. Connect with the show at Handley and Hansen on Twitter and Instagram. Watch us live on YouTube or call the show at 531-895-0590.
Little hand says it's time to rock and roll.
And here we go.
Now live from the AM 590 WOW studio. Here's Nick Handley.
Well, we're waiting.
And Grant Hansen.
Your booze mean nothing. I've seen what makes you cheer.
Oh, he moved you over to the wrong mic. You grabbed the other mic.
There we go. Yeah, I moved.
What are you doing?
Well, it's Monday, and we got a sign behind us again.
It's true.
So
well,
I was in mic 1, now mic 2.
We leave the studio for one day, and then just absolute panic ensues.
No, it's all right. I was going to wear a helmet today. I forgot that. I was going to wear Reese's his T-ball helmet because you never know when this thing behind me is going to take a tumble again. But it's back. It's version 2.0. It looks sturdy.
It does look sturdy.
Yeah, it's going to be all right.
I guess time will tell, right?
Yes, it will.
The sign is back.
It's Handley and Hansen here on AM 590 WOW. Happy Monday to everybody. Hope you had a great weekend. A lot to get to because, as you know, and we left you on Friday, there was a scrimmage that took place in Lincoln on Saturday. Matt Rhule spoke to the media. Also on Saturday, when you woke up, you were inundated.
Oh.
With one of the most polarizing topics that I would love to tell you why it's not as polarizing in the 3 o'clock hour or the 4 o'clock hour, whenever we get to it. But the new alternate uniforms. We do know that not only Grant Hansen.
Yes.
He's Grant Hansen. I'm Nick Handley. Justice Rhody is our producer. Not only is it the blackout is back and it's an all-black uniform, and we all have thoughts on this.
And we all knew what day the game was going to be.
Yes, we knew it was going to be on Halloween. Matt Rhule didn't know if it'd be a night game or a day game. But there is now a petition going out for Halloween in the state of Nebraska to be moved up to the 30th.
Oh,
so
and it got some attention from the
Gov. Yes,
Jim
exactly.
Pillen.
So the trick-or-treaters don't have to decide whether to, and parents, more importantly, don't have to decide whether to commit to trick-or-treating that night or watching their beloved Huskers.
Interesting. I thought you could just make the decision to trick-or-treat. Everybody collectively would just make that decision societally. Well, I thought we'd just get there.
This is the thing that we sometimes forget. As much as we consume and we bathe in the Nebraska football machine, it's not everyone.
It's a good point.
And so it'd be kind of embarrassing if, say, you didn't even know to leave. Because, if you don't want to participate in trick-or-treating or have anybody come to your house. You just turn the lights off. Well, maybe you have the lights on a Friday because you're home, not realizing that all of a sudden
everybody in red
people are like,
comes
whoa,
up.
I'm here. You're like, what the hell is going on?
That is actually, you know what? This is an angle to this discussion that we have not delved into very much yet. I wonder what will happen. And if the word gets out, right? Like if Jim Pillen actually does sign a proclamation to make Halloween the 30th for that game, how many people actually
I don't
commit?
like this for the kids.
Yeah.
I don't like this for the kids. I think you're going to get shortchanged on it.
That's okay.
But we will get into the alternative uniforms a little bit later on in the show, but plenty to get to. And you can do so with us at 531-895-0590. You can also email the show, Nick at 590WOW.com, Grant at 590WOW.com, and Justice at 590WOW.com. Hopefully by now you have the free app. You can get that app. If you haven't, go to our website at 590WOW.com or go to the Apple or Google Play Store, and you can get it right there. Make sure it's the AM 590 WOW version, not the previous one that will just not work.
That will not,
it doesn't work.
Be what you're looking for.
Yes. So coming up on the show, we're going to be talking to Lauren Michelson this hour of KTV Sports. Lincoln Arneal, college volleyball insider, joins us in the 3 o'clock hour. Also a conversation with Evan Bland in the 4 o'clock hour as we get just rip roaring and all excited to go for another freaking week of fall camp.
Are we 19 days away?
That's why I'm kind of being sarcastic. No, I've personally got into.
We are 19 days away.
Yeah, I'm not there yet. I'm not on that wall yet, but I know that we will get there at some point. It's like, all right, because we may not see another scrimmage. Not that we saw the scrimmage on Saturday, but we may not talk about another scrimmage
at all.
That might have been the only one. Now they'll obviously do a lot of live periods to continue to evaluate these position groups and whatnot, but a lot of interesting conversation between Monday and Dana Holgorsen that we brought to you.
Yes.
And then also what Matt Rhule had to say Saturday after the scrimmage, especially I gotta be honest, guys, I'm getting even more and more and more intrigued, excited, and more than anything, curious on how Janiron Bonner is going to be used in this offense, because between Holgorsen, who was glowing, who essentially said part of him died last year when Janiron Bonner went down in that game out at Arrowhead against Cincinnati. But then Matt Rhule also talking about Janiron Bonner. Here's the head coach on Saturday talking about Wood.
Yeah, you don't want any of your guys to get hurt. And unfortunately, it's a physical game. When he got hurt last year, it obviously was frustrating for us all. It's not with Wood. It's not just football. It's just who he is. I mean, he's just one of those guys. So that people rally around and believe in. So to see him back out there is great. We try to do a good job with his reps. He doesn't know another speed, but full speed. And we'll try to get him to the season, but happy to have him out there. I think all play callers, especially Dana, but all play callers, when they find an infatuation with something a player can do, they find ways to utilize it. And I think he sees that in Woods. So, he can be a wideout, he can be a back, he can be a tight end, he can be a fullback, he can be anything you want. And, it'll be interesting to see how Dana and the staff on offense uses him all year.
Look, I'm curious. I'm not excited yet. I can't convince myself to get excited because we haven't seen any of this.
Mm-hmm.
We know this guy means a ton to the players on this team. He earned a single digit last year. It means a ton to Matt Rhule, to Dana Holgorsen, but we haven't seen it actually play out on the field yet, which that's the biggest part of okay, I'm sort of just stuck with this sort of lackluster curiosity. Okay, I'm excited to see it at some point. I'm looking forward to seeing it. I'm looking forward to whatever the picture is taking shape. But am I a believer that he's going to be a game changer for this offense and this group? I mean, look, they certainly believe he is. They use terms like security blanket. I mean, you love those, especially for a quarterback, especially from a tight end receiver, a guy who fits into different categories. He's sort of their gadget guy. We just have to see it actually play out. And that's where I'm at on this. And people continue to ask questions about him. I like security blanket, how? That's part of my question. And forgive me if there's a member of the media who's followed up and asked that question to this point. But that's kind of where I come down, where I'm just like, okay, like, is it literally as a receiving option and a tight end across the middle type security blanket? Is it he's an eraser in the blocking game and excellent in the running game, that type of security blanket? Like, give me more. I want more before I buy in more.
This is why I'm excited. So I hear you, but I'm going to disagree with you. This is why I'm excited and why I think it's okay to be excited, because a lot of the conversation leading into Big Ten Media Days and then what we heard, what is this offense going to look like? What is the true Dana Holgorsen offense now that he's got somewhat of a mobile quarterback? Does that allow Dana Holgorsen to do more of what he wants to do offensively? And then we hear about Dana Holgorsen wanting to scratch that itch, that offensive itch. I don't think it was any coincidence that Janiron Bonner's name has been brought up in so many different facets when talking about this offense's ceiling, if you will, or the optimism that is there with this offense. That, I mean, this goes all the way back to when that Dana Holgorsen was asked about his comments of the tight ends back in June and July. And on Friday, he gave you a little bit more clarity on that. And he said, well, a lot of the issues with those guys is Wood is back.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's a Janiron Bonner pushing the tight ends
right
to a point. And then there's this line that he said last week where all those things we do with Bonner is fun for me, when Dana Holgorsen talks about that. So I start to connect the dots of, and I don't know, because we did not see it last year because Bonner was literally available for a quarter in that game against Cincinnati. So I hear you what you're saying there. But when I think of a lot of the fans' questions about Dana Holgorsen's true identity, his true 2026 offensive coordinating identity, and what an offense needs to look like or will look like under Dana Holgorsen, to me, this name and his name, Janiron Bonner, has been brought up so many times as A, healthy, but B, exactly what Matt Rhule just laid out there, where he can line up as a fullback, he can line up as a tight end, he can get out on the wing. There's a lot of things about him that I think make Dana Holgorsen feel very, very confident that they can get back to that creativity that I think even when you go all the way back to the Dana Holgorsen days of air raid, there was always a player or two that they would do multiple things with, and a guy that could block on the edge, a guy that could get locked up with a linebacker, and he was going to be able to beat him.
But you're saying the true identity of this Holgorsen offense is unlocked by a guy who's played in this role.
I'm not saying it's unlocked by it. I'm saying this is one of those pieces that allows them to be multiple, and to use a guy that has played wide receiver, tight end, and fullback gives you that type of variety where you can line him up all over the field and then have him win matchups and battles, but also free up other guys as well, whether he's a decoy or he's a big part of this offense. So when I think of what we want to see with Dana Holgorsen in his offense, and when he continues to talk about this guy and the way that they talk about him, it's hard for me not to think that there is something legitimately there when getting excited about them.
I mean, it's possible. It's just hard for me to get there, especially when we circle back to this conversation multiple times.
I'm sure you're not alone.
You know, it's just,
I'm buying it. I'll say this. I'm buying it. I'm buying the Bonner.
And I don't know what you would say. Holding.
You're
holding.
waiting to see. Yeah.
I mean, that's essentially where
you're
I'm
holding your stock.
There's something that was interesting. So again, we touched on quiet off season, and would it continue? It definitely has. Like, we're going to play for you several different audio clips from Matt Rhule's press conference, but I am not going to give you any BS.
Oh, come on.
There was not a ton of
what's funny.
There was not a ton of newsworthy information that surfaced from this thing.
What's the fun in that if you're not going to give us some BS?
Seriously, like, this was this continues sort of the close to the vest, play it tight sort of feel that we've had. It just look at like press conference length for Matt Rhule last year. He had one press conference during fall camp that was 14 minutes. That was on a Saturday night. His other press conferences last fall were 28 minutes and I believe 35 minutes. So like even that is tighter than what it's been. And like, I get it. Like maybe that's a tiny thing, you know, for some people, and you're like, you could easily say, Grant, you're getting caught up in some stupid stuff here. But like, to me, that's part of the thing that's like, okay, what was one of the most notable things that came out of the BTN show? What was the headline that came out of the BTN show? Cam Lenhart likes Godfathers.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, he does.
Like, that was one of the things that really struck me over the weekend is, again, close-knit, tight to the vest. We'll see you out on the field on September 5th.
No, I do agree with you there. I think that Matt Rhule, this is where I'm sure, again, some of you are going to roll his eyes because I'm going to talk about his tone. And I know that I've done that in the past. I always felt like when Matt Rhule addresses either the media or addresses a large gathering, he always seems to have the right tone, the right message. He knows, he has a good feel of what he's about to go into. And he knows this year that there's not one thing that he can overly praise about this team's efforts leading into this season that are going to be applauded and embraced and create this expectation and this buzz. He understands what Nebraska fans, what college football insiders, and everybody is saying about this team. And he did, I would say, more of the Nebraska PR tour last year, did all of the appearances on McAfee and other shows. I mean, if there was a show to be had, and the podcast he did last year too, if there was something that he could get the word out about Nebraska football and do it on a unique platform, he was going to do
Although
that.
I wonder if he had his choice, if he wouldn't still do that. It like did the media days comments from him not make it out to you like he would prefer, like there was some like I told you so sort of nature to some of his comments around his media appearances.
You mean the stuff he did last year where he wasn't wild about it? Or you
no,
wishes he could do more
at
of it
Big
now?
Ten media days this year where he's talking about getting recognized in Miami and makes a comment about, well, look, I mean, we just put together the best recruiting class in 2027. I mean, I don't know if he would give that stuff up. Really, there was some question for me about like it doesn't seem that lines up.
I do think a lot of what you're hearing right now is extremely calculated. Just like last year, the stuff you heard was
that
calculated.
is 100% true.
I think he understands now is not the time for a lot of talk or maybe a lot of sunshine and rainbows until there's actually concrete results on the field before he can start doing that. But at any point during the season, will he actually do that? I mean, that's the question. But yeah, you're going to get a lot of nothing going forward. Coming up, we're going to talk more about the takeaways over the weekend from fall camp and the first scrimmage. Also, red-white volleyball scrimmage took place yesterday. Lauren Michelson of KTV Sports joins us on the other side of the break. Glad you're with us as we get things started here on a Monday. It's Handley and Hansen on AM 590 WOW.
Does your athlete struggle with confidence? As a parent, you can see it. Your child has the talent and the work ethic, but lately something's different. They're overthinking, playing nervous, losing confidence after one mistake. The physical skills are there, but now it's time to train the mental game. Iron Minds Coaching helps young athletes build confidence, improve focus, and perform with greater composure under pressure. Because confidence isn't something you're born with, it's something you train. Schedule a consultation today at ironmindscoaching.com.
Make your business travel in style with custom vehicle wraps from Omaha Auto Wraps. Your car, truck, or SUV will become a moving advertisement, seen by hundreds of people daily. Visit Omaha Auto Wraps right now at omahaautorapps.com for a free design consultation. Put a wrap on your vehicle and grab attention. Visit them at 14609 Prairie Corner Road in Omaha, 1 block from the Amazon warehouse on Highway 370, and always online at omahaautorapps.com.
Having trouble sleeping? Stop by 42 Degrees and discover why so many people turn to 42 Degrees for solutions that help them rest, relax, and wake up feeling refreshed. Visit the brand new location at 180th and Q, or stop by any of the 10 convenient 42 Degrees locations serving Omaha and Lincoln. Grand opening savings are happening now, making it the perfect time to stop in. Learn more at 42degrees.com. That's 42degrees.com. 42 Degrees. Still by your mom's house.
In August, fun takes flight at Blackbird Bend Casino. Win your share of more than $30,000 in our Gold Rush giveaway on Saturday, August 22nd from 1 to 5 p.m. Every 10 minutes, a guest will win $500 and a chance to spin our prize wheel for double that prize. At 5 p.m., one lucky guest will walk away with $10,000. Get in the drawings by claiming 1 free entry daily on our kiosks and start earning additional entries now. Great gaming, delicious food, and friendly service are just around the bend at Blackbird Bend Casino near Ottawa, Iowa.
Your backyard could be the best seat in Omaha. Crone Landscape Construction has spent 40 years building them. Paver patios, retaining walls, outdoor kitchens, fire pits, ponds, and landscape lighting, all designed and installed by the same local crew that's been doing it since 1986. No call centers, no franchises, just Gary Crone and his team and work that holds up. Get on the schedule now for fall. Call Crone Landscape at 402-779-3377. That's 402-779-3377.
Say aloha to bold island flavor at Hawaiian Bros. Surf the savory wave into juicy huli chicken, luau roasted pork, spicy kilauea, or Molokai chicken. Then chill it down with a light and refreshing Dole pineapple soft serve. Hawaiian Bros offers catering and group meals, making it easy to impress your guests without the work and let the luau begin. Now in 3 Omaha locations, it's never been easier to take your taste buds on a mini vacation at Hawaiian Bros and eat like you're on island time. Hawaiian Bros, serving summer to Nebraska year-round. Now open in Elkhorn.
On the upcoming edition of the Great Outdoor Radio Show here on AM 590 WOW, make way for the air boaters. This will be a rockin' show on Rivers. Saturday morning, 9 to 10, WOW. Cubby's Convenience Stores. Host Coffee and Stoysage House of Sausage.
Welcome back to Handley and Hansen. Give us a call and share your thoughts. 531-895-0590.
Hey, if you want a chance to win tickets to the Huskers home opener against the Ohio Bobcats on September 5th, and not just tickets, tailgate passes and WOW swag, just set your radio preset in your car to 590. Take a photo of it and go to the contest page on 590WOW.com. That is 590WOW.com. Very easy to do. You just enter it, and you have your chance to win those tickets. You enter by midnight on August 27th, and we will announce the winner on August 28th. As we talk some more Husker Fall Camp, also a little volleyball from yesterday. Welcome into the show, Lauren Michelson of KETV Sports. Got enough to join us today. Very busy with the high school beat as well going on. There's always something going on right now, right, Lauren?
I was going to say, as you can tell, I'm taking this call from my car, and that's how you know we are in the thick of fall, and it is August, and we are underway balancing everything.
Lauren, top takeaways from red-white scrimmage yesterday.
Oh, my gosh. Depth. Like, you think what's so interesting about this roster is that they retained all the same players. They added a handful of freshmen, and you thought last year, how could this team get any better? It's better this year. Those position battles we saw last season, the added depth we saw last season, the margin between the starters, who will start and who will back them up and come off the bench, is even smaller now. And I do not envy Danny Busby-Kelly as head coach and how she has some difficult decisions to make when it comes to who's going to start alongside Andy Jackson at middle blocker. You still have that ongoing libero battle between Lainey Choboy and Olivia Malk, who bring very different styles of play. And then you also have outside hitter battles behind Harper Murray and even at opposite. So she has some tough decisions to make, but if there's one thing to take away, it's that they can win with a number of different lineups. And when things do get difficult down the stretch this year, like we saw really late in the season against Texas A&M when they lost, is that they will have hopefully the experience to sub players in and out depending on what kind of looks they get. And that is really exciting.
We're talking to Lauren Michelson of KTV Sports. It's Handley and Hansen here on AM 590 WOW. And thinking about just the depth conversation, as you mentioned, with volleyball, I know that's an area, especially with the BTN folks that made their way over to Lincoln and had a chance to check out Nebraska's camp and some of the practices. If you think about the depth standpoint when it comes to the offensive line, but just collectively on the defense in certain spots, does that feel like that just overall view of this team is starting to grow and grow a little bit more when people talk about if there's one area of strength or confidence, it could just be overall team depth?
Yeah, and Matt Rhule has been really candid saying, this is my best roster at Nebraska because of how many vets we have on this team and because of the depth and the experience and all that worked into one. And you see it again with those position battles too. Like there's still so much up in the air regarding the secondary as a whole and who's going to fight for those starting jobs. And again, like as much as it's a hard decision for these coaches to make, like that is such a good problem to have and one we haven't always seen. Like we don't want to be talking in fall camp necessarily. Like you want to know who your skills position starters are, of course, and especially up front. But I think it's a good position to have to be fighting for all these battles and look at this roster. And we have another open viewing period tomorrow and to be watching and think, wow, you can really have multiple looks with multiple different guys. That's how you win.
Lauren, when it comes to Nebraska's offseason, we've touched often on sort of the quiet nature of things, and I feel like that continued yesterday with Coach Rhule. What did you get the sense? Did you get that same sense from him on Saturday? Just that quiet, close to the vest sort of deal that we've been seeing so far this season?
Yeah, Matt Rhule is really approaching, in my opinion, this season very differently than he has the last couple of years. And obviously you'd have to ask him point blank, are you trying to keep things a little bit closer to the chest this year? But from the outside and having side conversations with him and from talking to the players, they're just kind of done talking, right? And I think it's a really good thing that they are spending less time maybe worried about how they portray themselves. And they do a great job. Like the brand is a big thing. You have to be able to market yourselves as a team now when it comes to recruiting. Like these young players want a lot of the flashiness and they want to see all the resources available that Nebraska has. Nebraska does a good job. Their media people do a good job doing that. What's cool this year in this offseason and now in fall camp is that the team and the coaches aren't talking as much. And it's as frustrating it is from a media standpoint to have Coach Rhule go up there and not give a ton of information. It's also kind of a refreshing thing to see because, yeah, let us just kind of hear little by little what this team has to offer. And then when they go out and play, hopefully we'll get a lot of answers. And either way, we're not going to be kind of, taking a piece of information they're sharing and running with it and making it into something big. That's probably the point that they don't want, right? So yeah, I love that it's been a little bit quieter. Like you always want from a media standpoint to take a little bit more, but I think it's intriguing and says a lot about what Rhule thinks of this team. Sometimes the less you say, the more there is. So maybe it's a good thing.
It's Handley and Hansen, AM 590 WOW, talking to Lauren Michelson of KTV here on a Monday. You still do get Friday Holgo audio, which was pretty fun on Friday between, the fake transfers coming into running back. Then he was talking about his weight and everything like that. But he did bring up, and we were just talking about Janiron Bonner. He's always mentioned, and especially the way that Dana talks about him as well. I'm really buying into it. I'm buying into that there is something clearly there with how they will use him and how maybe this offense has a chance to unlock a little bit more with a healthy Janiron Bonner. Are you buying into that?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, he's super versatile. That's awesome. And I think, like you mentioned, it's almost like not good cop, bad cop, but while Rhule will maybe be a little bit more tight-lipped about things, Dana kind of lets a couple things out there that he may not want, but it is kind of funny because it's two different almost personalities right now with the two of them, and I kind of love it, and I think Janiron's a perfect example of that. And the one comment that really sticks out to me about Dana Holgorsen and about this offense as a whole when it comes to using the personnel they have, Bonner being one of them, is Dana feels like he can really let it rip this year. He feels like he has the personnel to call plays the way he wants to do it, a little bit more risky is not the word, but he knows what he has. I feel like he's a little excited. Even interviewing a guy like Ja'Cory Barney a couple weeks ago, and I asked him about, hey, like, how much confidence does your OC have right now? And he's like grinning this like silly little grin. Like, I know something you don't know. And it's that we have some tricks up our sleeve. And I think this offense knows that. And that is very exciting.
Lauren Michelson from KETV is our guest here on Handley and Hansen. And after Emmett Johnson's performance with the Chiefs in the preseason game on Saturday against the Rams. How much stock are you buying in the former Husker, Lauren?
Oh my gosh. I've done a couple sit downs with him. I really got to know Emmett and his family. And he has a family in Lincoln that he got really close with. And he is just a stand-up guy, like a joy to talk to, has such a great story. And so naturally you want to cheer for someone like that. And then kind of watching him slip down a little bit the draft boards and go later on than many expected. And then to end up with the Chiefs was one thing, but for him to actually show what he can do was really, really cool. And then also it's just like he's already gotten, fans are all over it, right? Like they can tell that the Chiefs have something special with him. The Chiefs know they have something special with him. So yeah, buy stock in Emmett Johnson now. As a Chiefs fan, I'm thrilled to be watching him. So it's a really cool deal. Saturday was really fun, and I'm just happy for a guy like that. It's really awesome to see.
All right, you got to be really careful how you answer this next question because this is a big one, as you now know. In the last 48 hours, anytime we get to alternate uniform conversation, you know where I'm going with this. So you saw it unveiled. We know it's going to be the big Halloween game against Washington. They're already petitioning to have Halloween on a different day here in the state of Nebraska. That's neither here nor there. But is Lauren Michelson a fan of the 2026 version of the blackout uniforms?
I am a fan. I think they're great. Yeah, you know what? You're never going to make everyone happy. That's fine. I think the blackout was done really well last year. It was one of the coolest game day experiences I've ever seen. And I think fans, for the most part, really liked it. And I think they're on trend to replicate how cool that night was. Hopefully the difference is a win this year. But yeah, I'm for it. People are always going to find something they don't like, but I'm a glass half full type of person. So let's look at it that way.
Lauren, what concerns you the most about the Chiefs this year? What are you most excited about?
Probably just up front. Like, I'm just worried about, and honestly, I'm worried about, I don't even want to say this, but like Mahomes staying healthy. I believe he is, but I am kind of worried about that. And just, is it bad? I'm just nervous all around right now for this team. I'm very cautious because anytime people hate the Chiefs, people hate when you talk about the Chiefs, and people left and right keep saying the dynasty's over, the dynasty's over. And I want to say, as long as we have Patrick Mahomes as quarterback, the dynasty is not over. I think Travis Kelce should have retired a couple years ago. Absolutely. But we have some new guys. We've got Walker in the backfield there. I'm excited, moderately excited. So we'll see how it goes.
That's good. Okay. That's honest.
It's Lauren Michelson, KETV Sports. Lauren, thanks for joining us today. Have a great rest of the day.
Thank you, guys. Have a good one.
Big Chiefs fan right there, too.
Moderately excited.
Yeah. I understand that. That's how everybody should be that way about their team right now. Whether we're talking about Nebraska football, I think there's reason,
maybe not Jets fans.
Yeah. Or
Dolphins fans.
Yeah. There's Browns always exceptions. Fans. Absolutely. Did you see Deshaun Watson? At all? Oh, Deshaun looked good. He looked better. I don't know. It could be Shedeur just looked that bad. I think it was actually he looked okay. Shedeur did not look that good. There's a bit of a gap.
Yeah, save it for the 5 o'clock hour. Yeah, I'm curious to hear your thoughts.
Into that. I want to circle back to where we left off in segment number 1 with Matt Rhule, how he's approaching this year, because I think it's an interesting viewpoint on just his overall role. We'll get into that. Also, we've got plenty more to dive into when it comes to the Red-Whites scrimmage yesterday with volleyball. Also, we're going to talk about some Huskers in the NFL. That's all still ahead. It's Handley and Hansen here on AM 590 WOW.
You care about this community, and at United Way of the Midlands, we turn that care into action, making your gift go further and keeping essential services within reach for families across the metro. Make a difference today at unitedwaymidlands.org.
Tired of aches slowing you down? 42 Degrees supports everyday wellness with trained, approachable staff and clear guidance on comfort-focused options. No guessing, no pressure. Learn more at 42degrees.com. Trusted by mom.
Rich Eisen.
Running backs should be paid the level of wide receivers in the National Football League because of what these guys do. And when they have the opportunity to get paid in their mid-20s because they're so damn good already, knowing that at age 30 is when returns begin to diminish, unless you're somebody named Derrick Henry, or as Christian McCaffrey's going to try to prove for the 49ers this year.
Rich Eisen. Every weekday, 11 to 2 on AM 590 WOW.
Have you been to Deer's Ford lately?
We may not be the biggest dealership around, but we strive to be the best. And Fremont agrees. We've been honored with 9 Best of Fremont awards, including Best Place to Work, New Car Dealer, Pre-Owned Car Dealer, Locally Owned Business, Tire Store, Auto Repair, Glass Repair, Body Shop, and Best Oil Change. See why so many drivers choose Deer's Ford Lincoln. Visit us today at deersford.com. Fremont's best award-winning dealership.
Have you been to Deer's Ford lately?
Summer evenings just seem better when you have a home you truly love. Imagine relaxing on the patio, hosting the grandkids, or simply enjoying the peace and comfort of a beautifully crafted home designed for the way you live today, specifically for you. At Edward Custom Homes, our homes are maintenance-free, so you can enjoy company in your backyard. No mowing needed. Award-winning, maintenance-free homes at Edward Custom Homes in a growing Elkhorn community. Book your private tour at edwardcustomhomes.com.
Heartland Honors 9/11 is an initiative that unites the Omaha Metro in recognition of the 25th anniversary of September 11th. The Heartland Honors team is distributing free yard signs, which remind the community to remember 9/11 and to honor the spirit of community, service, and appreciation for first responders. To pick up a sign or to get more information, just go to heartlandhonors9-11.com. That's heartlandhonors9-11.com. Thank you for your support.
With school just around the corner, don't forget to buy Nordic Naturals DHA products. DHA is essential for normal brain and eye development, and it may help attention, behavior, and reading. And these supplements are on sale the whole month of August at no-name nutrition markets. Available in capsules, gummies, and liquid form.
No Name Nutrition, the natural place to shop.
Le Peep has been Omaha's favorite breakfast destination for a reason. Whether you're meeting with friends for brunch, catching up over coffee, or enjoying a family breakfast, Le Peep serves fresh, made-from-scratch favorites you'll come back for again and again. Pair your meal with a handcrafted coffee made from locally sourced espresso and discover why Omaha has voted Le Peep the #1 best breakfast for 19 years. Stop by one of our 4 convenient locations and taste the Le Peep difference for yourself.
Kick back and strap in for some lively conversation. Handley and Hansen on AM 590 WOW.
531-895-0590, the number to call to be a part of the show today. It's Handley and Hansen. Grant Hansen with Nick Handley, AM 590 WOW. Thanks for making us a part of your afternoon. We'll get into some Husker notes from former Huskers playing in preseason action in the NFL over the weekend. But, Nick, you had more on Matt Rhule and how he's approached this offseason, which, again, as we discussed, it's sort of, I think, when Lauren said they're sort of just done talking, I think that to me was maybe the best way I've heard somebody sum it up to this point. And I'm kind of in the same boat. like we opened the show with you sort of sarcastically being like, another week of fall camp.
Oh, yeah.
And honestly, we've got here, and we get here every year, the dog days, and next week, in theory, will be worse.
Next week will be worse.
But I'm kind of in the same boat, I think, too, where I'm like, all right, I'm kind of done with the talking. And look, we get to this point of the year. It's only 19 days away. It's as close as it's ever been. But it feels, for whatever reason, as far away as it maybe has ever been. But that's enough from me. Your continued thoughts.
There's obviously a fatigue that's set in with the fan base of hearing certain things from every coach, and they're fulfilling their obligation to talk with the media. And hey,
Right.
it could be worse. We could have the Deion Sanders treatment at Colorado, where and nothing can be reported. Your eyeballs take notes, but then you can't go on any platforms and speak about it either. Look, I can always appreciate the job that all of these coaches have to do. And I can also appreciate a coach that understands, you know what, the more I seem to talk or elaborate on a lot of my thoughts about this particular team or last year's particular team can get me in trouble sometimes.
He is hyper aware of that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Especially this offseason. Like, if you notice this, I don't know if there's been a press conference this year where he hasn't dropped some sort of caveat. And it started it started at Big Ten Media Days. I said that, they're saying that, I can't even remember what topic it was about, but he was like, they're saying that. I don't want anybody saying I said that.
Well, not only
you've
that,
got the bristling at the running back stuff, which has happened fairly consistently. So, like, he's hyper aware of the image. Even this past press conference, he was talking. You joked, I got to watch Dana before. Like, he's hyper aware because he very much knows how this ecosystem works.
But not only that part, which you're right, but the other part he continues to bring up. He said this on Saturday. He said it in both the main stage session at Big Ten Media Days and then the side podium session of waiting until it actually plays out on the field. Everybody asking direct questions about a certain player, a certain position group, a certain coordinator, a certain style. He will give an answer, but a lot of the times it's like he catches himself as he's saying something very positive about an individual or a position group or anybody. He does preface it by saying, now, of course, we got to see that on Saturdays. He's done that way more than he ever did before because I think he understands at the root of all this, at the root of whether it's frustration with certain fans or it's just that overall, I don't know what to expect and I don't want to hear a bunch of this until I see it on the field. He's very much aware of that being the root of it. So he is making sure he's verbalizing what everyone else is thinking, and that is, yeah, right now, cool, look good, or this was good.
They're done talking.
We will see what happens on Saturday. And remember when we talked to Justin Evans and when we talked to Andrew Marshall, when we talked to all of really anybody that was involved there, Luke as well, you got the sense, and I think it was Andrew or Justin, it might have been both, that said exactly that. Like, yeah, we're done talking. We're not going to talk to you guys. But it's like, yeah, we're tired of talking about it. We're really excited to get out there and actually put helmet to helmet, all of that.
Everybody says it every fall camp because, like, usually this week, I'm sure if somebody will ask the question this week, and if not this week, next week, how excited are you to play a team that isn't you? Like, that question gets asked.
Someone in a different color jersey.
But it does feel different this year, I think. And by the way, coming up in the 5 o'clock hour, the top of the 5 o'clock hour, we'll touch on a couple of comments that Rhule did make that I thought were noteworthy about two of the younger guys on this team, one of them being Tyson Terry. I thought the Terry question was interesting because it was kind of an illustrative example of what you were talking about the way that he'll just kind of caveat or couch things with that answer. So we'll hear that at 5. But
yeah, I think more than anything, the tone that you're going to get, I think some people think that it sounds like, because I remember in the spring even, he sounded almost glum. It was interesting, like hearing him talk in a spring press conference where there's no scoreboard or anything. Everything is just, trying to get the work done that hopefully you make the most out of the 15 practices that you have in spring. But he was just very no nonsense. And you got to go all the way back to
putting it
his introductory press conference where he hit every tone. But at that point, that was a fan base that needed some uplifting because here came the former national championship winning quarterback in Scott Frost. Everybody thought that this should be the right fit.
Right.
It didn't happen. It was a gut punch. And Nebraska somehow sunk even lower than they did under Mike Riley and continued to hit these new lows. And Nebraska was a huge punchline. Well, you needed somebody to be uplifting, somebody to come in from the outside of the old guard and just at least put some optimism into the program. And I think that's typically been the lane that Matt Rhule has stayed in.
Sure.
I think it wasn't until last year where, again, for the second straight year, they go to a bowl game, but also have an extraordinarily
the crash and burn of the end of the season.
That is the lasting image you have, and the thrashing in the bowl game. So I think there's at least part of me that can appreciate, he ain't talking anymore because he understands, like everyone else, I don't want to hear that.
I'm right there with him. Like, that's part of it. So, and I think a lot of the fan base is. So, there's another piece I want to touch on here. We have a few minutes left before we get next segment to talk about some Huskers who've actually done fairly well for themselves, or at least have notable news related to their NFL preseason performance, some ex-Huskers. The comment from Matt Rhule in the middle of the Big Ten bus tour show, which I thought of all the things from that show, there are two things. One, the Godfather's Pizza comment from Cam Lenhart, which is like very strange.
You know what, Cam? I want to take you to Columbus, Nebraska, my friend.
Can't comment on pizza for me.
I know you
Food
can't.
allergies, sad. But the other was Matt Rhule saying this is the best team that he's had since he's been here. No offense to the 23, 24, 25 teams. 26 is the best.
Whoa, Dylan.
So my question to you is, how much stock do you put into that? Because here's the thing. It has to be, right? It's kind of a tough question to answer, because if you're in year 4 and he says, no, actually the 25 team was more talented. No, actually the 24 team was more talented. That's obviously not a good thing, right? You're supposed to be building year by year by year. So is there something there? Is there something there for fans to climb onto, or is it just, well, that's kind of the answer he has to give?
With that, does he have to say that, or could he, if he didn't? Okay. Let's say internally he's like, there are definitely some questions, and they're definitely, again, I'm not trying to say he's right, because how the hell I know?
Mm-hmm.
But I think that, and given Matt's ability to, as I mentioned it before, find the right tone, find the right message, he also could navigate away from that question to where he's being emphatic or definitive about an overall roster's talent compared to previous years. So I don't know if he necessarily has to say that. I truly feel he believes it. Now, again, that doesn't mean it's so.
I mean, I agree with that.
That doesn't mean it's so.
I think he does believe it.
I think he believes it. And I think talking about the age, I think one of the things that is very exciting to this entire coaching staff, because it's brought up on different fronts, whether you're hearing from Rob Orich, you're hearing from Holgorsen, or even position coaches, set your watch on it. Every time there's an appearance, at least one of them will talk about the age of that group or the age of that position group.
Variation.
I think they feel like the experience more than anything for the first time since at least the coaches that were here from day one under Matt Rhule feel like it's as good, but it's not only experience in having that type of average age of around 22, but it's those guys that are in some key roles.
Well, and the rest of his answer was about that, by the way.
Exactly.
Like after he said, this is the best team from a talent perspective since I've been here, the rest of the answer was we had a bunch of guys who have been here for 3 years. They've added between them all 350 pounds of muscle. So he went into that route. I mean, that's exactly where he went.
Yeah. Again, I'll take a page out of Matt Rhule. I have no idea what that's going to look like on the field, but I understand why a coaching staff could be optimistic, because the amount of not having to repeat yourself and have, a 1 step forward, 2 steps back in fall camp, because everyone's moving forward because they understand a lot of that stuff. They're grasping all of it.
Yeah.
I think that's definitely a plus. We'll see what it means from a win-loss standpoint. All right, as Grant mentioned, some NFL thoughts with Huskers in the pros. Talked a little bit about Emmett Johnson, but
wasn't just him.
Yeah,
Come on,
he's not the only one. That's
Plus, I got more on Emmett.
Okay,
yeah.
Well, we'll let you just spew it out. Coming back, it's Handley and Hansen here on AM 590 WOW.
This is the Husker Sports Daily Report, brought to you by Physicians Mutual. Insurance for all of us.
Physicians Mutual, Physicians Mutual.
This is your Husker Daily Report. Nebraska women's soccer began their season on the right note on Wednesday as they went on the road to the Derby City and picked up a 3-1 win over the Louisville Cardinals. Husker women's soccer will be back at it this weekend on Sunday afternoon, August 16th, when they host the South Dakota Coyotes. That kickoff will be from Barbara Hibner Stadium at 1 p.m. Husker women's soccer will have 2 more home games in the next week against high-profile opponents. On Thursday, August 20th, they'll have a date with the Notre Dame Fighting Irish at 7 p.m. Then on Sunday, August 23rd, they'll have a noon match taking on the Alabama Crimson Tide. Following the Alabama match, Nebraska will have 2 more non-conference matches, another home match on Thursday, August 27th, hosting the UNL Mavericks, and they'll be on the road on Sunday, August 30th, to the Little Apple, facing the Kansas State Wildcats. That's the Husker Daily Report, presented by Physicians Mutual.
Born and raised right here, Physicians Mutual understands Nebraska values because we live them every day. For 125 years, we've kept our promise to be there when customers like you need it most. When you choose Physicians Mutual, you can rest easy knowing we will help protect what matters most to you with insurance for health, life, and retirement. Built on trust, focused on your future. Visit physiciansmutual.com.
Physicians Mutual, Physicians Mutual.
Evan, Canty, and Michelle are unsportsmanlike.
Nancy Lieberman joining us here on Unsportsmanlike.
I played ball with Witten to Tony Romo. Actually, he's the best basketball player that I have ever played with. We had an incident. I was his teammate. He threw a pass to me, and it went through my hands and it went out of bounds. He starts yelling, "Why did you catch the ball?" And you know me, I went, "Why didn't you catch the snap?"
Unsportsmanlike, weekday mornings 5 to 9, AM 590, WOW.
Have you heard? Sony just came out with a revolutionary new line of TV monitors. And the picture, in a word, OMG. Well, that's 3 words, but critics are going gaga over Sony's new True RGB TV. It's a game changer. The most vibrant, rich, true-to-life colors, 1.5 times brighter than previous TVs. If you love sports or movies, you've got to see this today. Stop in for a demo at Custom Electronics, 75th and Pacific.
Summer is so much more than just nice weather. It means taking out the boat or the golf cart or the Harley out of the garage. But when it's been a few months since those have started up, and they won't, that's where Action Batteries comes in. At Action Batteries, it all starts with us. Whether it's your car battery or your lawn and garden battery, we've been doing it all since 1982. So you can focus on having some fun this summer. Action Batteries Unlimited offers free installation of batteries in most vehicles. Find us at 79th and J Street or online at actionbatteries.com.
Set the Bar is more than just your typical sports bar. It's where women's sports is a movement and not just a moment. Don't worry about dinner either. Set the Bar has smash burgers, side-out chicken sandos, and wings with 6 different types of sauces, all with an option for everyone, from vegan to vegetarian to gluten-free. Get rewarded for watching Husker or Creighton volleyball with our punch cards. 1 punch per day for watching games to earn an appetizer. And enter for your chance at the grand prize. Set the Bar. Online at set-thebar.com.
Here's your updated Metro weather outlook. Ample sunshine expected this afternoon with highs around 85. Partly cloudy skies. Tonight, chance of thunderstorms. Lows level off around 68. Right now, it's 84 degrees. I'm meteorologist Jennifer Wojcicki, and that's your updated Metro weather on AM 590 WOW. Online at 590WOW.com.
Kick back and strap in for some lively conversation. Handley and Hansen on AM 590 WOW.
Off and rolling on a Monday. What a great start to the week.
Is it?
Good weekend.
Is it?
And guess what? We're just days away from college football. Week 0 kicks off a week from Saturday. Of course,
that's
we're
true.
highlighted by
That's true.
North Carolina and TCU in Ireland. So we will have college football, real games, like real, actual, meaningful games in the very near future.
I think I'm going to have an Irish breakfast that morning. Now that I know what they are, now that I know what it consists of, yeah, I think I'm going to really do it up the appropriate way.
He's Nick Handley. I'm Grant Hansen. It's Handley and Hansen, AM 590 WOW 531-895-0590. Justice Rhody is our producer. You call that number, you talk to him, and then he hopefully lets you talk to us with any of your questions or thoughts that you may have regarding this Husker football program. Just looking in at some of the odds and ends from the NFL side of things, I was struck by this tweet, by the way, from one of my fantasy football guys that I follow over the weekend regarding Emmett Johnson's performance in the preseason showdown with the Rams, which he wasn't the only exciting part of that game, by the way. You also had a stunning performance from a guy most people think is a backup quarterback. We'll hear more about that later on in the show. But most missed tackles forced in preseason week 1 across the entire NFL, Emmett Johnson, number 1, with 10 forced missed tackles. Nobody else has forced more than 5 during that first week. And Nick, to me, this is maybe the hardest thing that Nebraska will have to replace with Emmett Johnson when it comes to this upcoming season.
I mean, no doubt.
His ability to make guys miss, to turn what could be a 3-yard gain into a 5-yard gain, or to really pop a big run in that acceleration in space. That will be the hardest thing to recreate. Like I've been throughout the whole course of this show, as we enter our 4th week here. I've been one of the guys that, look, I'm not a running back room doubter.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're going to do just fine. This is the one thing that I think this is going to be hard. Now, there's other ways that they can replace that. There's other skills and talents you can use to get extra yardage. But this right here, this is why he's going to be successful at the NFL level in a big way, and it'll be the hardest thing for Nebraska to replicate in 2026.
I don't think there's any question that if you need some type of go-to, having that proven commodity is such a luxury for an offense. And then you think about if this offensive line is to be potentially as good as advertised with that experience and the amount of snaps that group collectively has in college football, imagine a guy like Emmett Johnson running behind that.
Oh, yeah.
And so it's easy to think about what that loss is going to mean, and it's easy to quickly try to pivot into, okay, who can be the next Emmett Johnson? And we've said it many times on this show that the answer is it's going to have to be a collection of guys. You're not going to have, at least in the early going, I feel extremely confident about that it's not probably until we get to maybe mid-October or November that you could see somebody start to get a little bit more of the line share of the carries, if at all. And so it's going to be that 2, possibly 3 guys are going to have to make up for that type of production, including the quarterback himself.
And that's a big piece of it. I want to get into that later this week too. Just some more numbers that I was able to find via Arbitrary Analytics. Arbitrary Analytics is a great Twitter account to follow if you haven't followed there. Regarding just how dismal Nebraska's quarterback rushing game was a year ago. Some other stuff too on Kenneth Walker. So Walker is largely considered, depending on who you talk to. In fact, I think even one of the Golics said this earlier, maybe last week on this station. Walker is maybe the biggest free agency addition of the offseason in the NFL, going to the Kansas City Chiefs, Super Bowl MVP from the Seattle Seahawks. Now, last year, Nick, was the first year of his career where he did not miss a game due to injury at the NFL level.
Yep.
Every other year of his career, he's missed at least 2 games. And even then, and I get it, Seattle ran the hell out of the ball last year. That was a huge part of what they did. But last year, 43% of the team's carries. Zach Charbonnet had about 34% of the team's rushing attempts. And that trend, for the most part, holds true throughout his entire time in Seattle. I'm not crazy to say this right now, I don't think. But there's very much a world where Emmett Johnson becomes basically Kansas City Zach Charbonnet behind Kenneth Walker, and they run the ball a ton this year. If he continues to show what he had shown at this past Saturday against the Rams, he had a touchdown that gets called back, I believe about a little over 65 yards from scrimmage.
Look, 3rd-round draft picks, they're not showing up to training camp and guys that are trying to desperately make the roster. I'm not saying that's what you're saying, but
no,
I'm surprised with some of the overall amazement that people are having with how he looked in preseason, but also how he's going to look in this offense. Because as we've always seen Andy Reid utilizing multiple backs, utilizing certain down and distance and situations of the game when they need, say, more of that battering ram traditional.
Shady McCoy a fair comp. I mean, he's obviously not reached that level of prowess yet, but can he be a lesser version of that?
Perhaps, yeah. And I think as long as the one thing about Emmett Johnson that I thought he did better than really anything else in the last 2 years was his ability to adjust as a reliable pass protector and blitz pickup guy. And
Giants could use one of those.
That's one of those things that's going to keep you on the field. The other area that he really improved on once he was getting more reps in games is that ability as a pass catcher out of the backfield. Those 2 things play so well in the NFL, but more importantly with that type of offense to where he can get a chip, he can flare out. Mahomes is either off platform or just going to try to utilize him in space, can find that. Like, I just feel like there's a carved out role that people need to understand for Emmett Johnson. It's going to be there, and it may look significant in certain games, and other games maybe not as significant, but he's going to be a big piece of what they want to do.
3rd on the depth chart for now. I just don't see any way where Emery DeMercado holds him off. who's currently second. If he does that 2 more times, he's number 2.
I think you know what DeMercado is going to be brought in to do, too. I mean, he's going to be more that traditional guy trying to drive a pile and be tough in between the tackles. But you got 2 home run hitters between what you're going to get out of Kenneth Walker and what we've now seen from Emma Johnson, too. So it's going to be, I think, fun times in Kansas City being able to utilize all 3.
Guys, other people did things besides Emma Johnson.
Yeah, we'll get
to them.
We'll get to that in a moment. College football, AP Top 25 came out today. We'll take a look at that as we return here in the 3 o'clock hour. Handley and Hansen on AM 590 WOW.
The legend has returned. Sports Talk Huskers. AM 590 WOW. Omaha.
Days with the Atlanta Falcons and Miami Dolphins and tell you which team is closer to turning it around. It's Unsportsmanlike 6 a.m. Eastern right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPN2.
The AM 590 WOW app is here. Download it now at 590WOW.com or in your app store. You can take AM 590 everywhere. Every Husker game, every ESPN show, every Handley and Hansen broadcast. Anywhere you feel the need for sports talk and more, AM 590 WOW is right there with you. Get the app now at 590WOW.com.
If you don't know Jack, call Jill of All Trades, voted Best of Omaha 3 years in a row.
My name is Christy. They painted our whole house and they did some soffit work for us. I would highly recommend Kim. She is fantastic. She has a great eye for detail. Her crew was wonderful. Everything was clean when they left and it was fantastic.
Call Kim at Jill of All Trades today, 402-905-8144. That's 402-905-8144.
My wife and I were watching television one evening, and we saw an ad come on, and it was for Roof Max. So after I had 4 or 5 people out, he came out, and sure enough, it turned out to be a great process, especially being able to replace some of the shingles that came off. I'd be happy to give a recommendation. You guys do such an outstanding job, and I've watched you all the way through the process, and I just have nothing but praise for how careful and neat and really exacting crew was and what they did.
Learn more at roofrevivenebraska.com or call 402-679-5741.
Put your phone on D&D. That means that do not disturb when you're driving and when you're going from point A to B. I need you to stay safe, please, so always sing with me. So put your phone on D&D. That means that do not disturb when you're driving and when you're going from point A to B. I need you to stay safe, please, so always remember this beat.
Don't drive distracted. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
When the power goes out, everything changes. Your comfort, safety, and peace of mind suddenly matter more than ever. That's why homeowners across the Midwest trust Generators for Sale. From expert guidance to professional installation, their team makes backup power simple. So when severe weather hits, life keeps moving without interruption. Generators for Sale. Power your home. Protect what matters most. Learn more at homegeneratorsforsale.com.
Give your family the gift of peace of mind by pre-planning your funeral arrangements today. At Good Shepherd Funeral and Cremation Services, their caring staff is dedicated to helping you make your wishes known in advance, easing emotional burdens and reducing uncertainty during a difficult time. With flexible funding options and affordable rates, Good Shepherd Funeral and Cremation Services is here to help you plan with confidence and care. Good Shepherd Funeral and Cremation Services, 2 Omaha locations or online at gsfuneral.com.
The Golics.
The main character of the Detroit Lions was the offensive line, and you need that group to be the star of the show when Jared Goff's your quarterback, because Jared Goff does plenty of things well. If you're asking him to throw play action over the middle, I always said the man could fit it through a keyhole through the fires of hell. But I have major concerns about, can this group go over? They're well coached, but that's a tall order as the heartbeat of the team.
9 to 11, weekday mornings on AM 590 WOW. Welcome back to Handley and Hansen on AM 590 WOW.
Hour 2, Handley and Hansen, AM 590 WOW. Appreciate you making us part of your afternoon. Hope you had a great weekend. Good stuff from Lauren Michelson in hour number 1. If you missed any of the show, be sure to check out the podcast. You can do so in a couple of different ways. Just go to 590WOW.com, or you can get it on the app. It's free. It's easy to find. Just go to your Apple or Google Play store, or go to 590WOW.com to get the app as well. You can also watch the show on YouTube, and you can also go to HuskerMax.com to watch. A big thank you to our partners over at Husker Max. Everything you ever wanted to know about the Huskers, for Huskers to the max. It's HuskerMax.com.
Great way to get at us is in that YouTube chat. I believe Twitter comments as well. And then we'll be streaming on Facebook, Justice, 2 days? 3 days? Tomorrow.
Tomorrow's the day. Oh, my gosh.
How about that?
When are we on TikTok?
That's a fantastic question. As somebody who doesn't have it,
I don't either.
I don't know. Does Justice have TikTok?
Justice has to have TikTok. You're not a TikTok guy.
Not a TikTok guy.
That shocks me. Not because you seem like a TikTok guy, because I don't really know what a TikTok guy and girl are, but you are of that age where I feel like it's all the rage to be on TikTok.
We have 2 Gen Z people on this show.
Yeah, I'm shocked.
Neither of them have TikTok.
I'm not surprised you aren't, because, I mean, hell, you'll still listen to the Eagles, but
that is not my favorite band from that era.
Well, I don't know. I'm just throwing one out there. But yes, as Grant mentioned in the stream, big hello to our guy Shane, Game Dog out there as well. Appreciate y'all checking out the show.
Hit us up on email. That's another way. And, of course, the phone number, 531-895-0590.
All right, top 25 AP came out today. The preseason, that is. Don't worry. No games have been played, so you didn't miss anything. But in the preseason AP top 25, you've got 3 Big Ten teams consuming the top 6 spots, including numbers 1 and 2, Ohio State, Oregon, and Indiana at number 6. The SEC only 2. Interesting. Georgia and Texas. Okay. Well, that's happened. But here's the rundown real quickly. Ohio State, Oregon, Georgia, Notre Dame, Texas are your top 5. As I mentioned, Indiana is at number 6. Number 7, Miami. 8, A&M. 9 is Ole Miss. 10 is Oklahoma. Outside the top 10, number 11, LSU. 12, Texas Tech. 13, Alabama. 14, USC, Big Ten. 14, BYU. 16, Michigan, Big Ten. 17, Big Ten, Washington. 18, Big Ten, Penn State. 19, SMU. 20, Tennessee. 21, Utah. 22, Iowa. Yeah, Big Ten. 23, Houston. And 24, Louisville. And Missouri carries up the rear at number 25.
Good for Missouri. Hey, they cracked it. There's everybody. They're in there. They've made it at 25.
Okay.
That was one of the
that a big
teams
deal?
Michael and I were both hating on. Or Michael's hating on.
Oh, he's hating on Missouri.
I think Friday. Yeah.
Yeah.
They stink. Number 1, number 2 for the Big Ten. How about that?
Yeah, and I don't think a big shock.
60 plus years, first time that's happened, I believe.
It's one of those things that seems to be fitting when even Paul Feinbaum doesn't dispute Ohio State and Oregon holding up the top 2 spots.
So here are the teams that receive first place votes: Ohio State, Oregon, Notre Dame, Indiana, Miami. Miami got 1.
Texas and Georgia did not get 1.
People were surprised by Texas not receiving any first place
I'm
votes.
surprised by that,
Meanwhile, Nebraska, who began the year a year ago, essentially in 34th place in the others receiving votes category, did not receive a single vote.
Right.
Liberty received a single vote. Western Michigan received a single vote. James Madison got 3. Virginia and Tulane each 1. California 2. Memphis 2. Auburn 3. That's funny. Somehow that one's funnier to me than the others. New Mexico 4. Minnesota got 5.
How about this one, though? Oh? Is this AP Top 25?
No, it's just the Eagles.
Oh, there you go.
He's just playing the Eagles.
Ah-ha-ha.
I don't understand.
I don't know.
I am not an Eagle. I mean,
you like
I
classic
like
rock.
the Eagles,
Okay, well,
I guess.
You like classic rock. You don't hate them.
Oh, it's not even the Eagles.
Oh, interesting.
It's just the NFL.
All right, well,
films
anyway.
bit. What the heck?
How about this one, though?
I thought it's
Clemson, who comes in at basically number 26. They are the next.
I'm obviously.
It does sound like the Eagles.
I am obviously not an Eagles fan. If Justice can play an NFL films bet, and I think it's an Eagles song.
This does not sound like an NFL films. There's not the.
I know. Yeah,
those are usually
I don't
the
sound
NFL
like I'm
films.
marching off to war.
Clemson received 112 overall votes in the top 25, so they are the next highest
They missed.
team. They missed, and this is the first time since 2011 that Clemson has not been in the preseason top 25. That was Dabo Swinney's. Think about this. That was his third full season.
Indiana, number 6. That's the highest the Hoosiers have been in school history.
Mm-hmm.
Last year, of course, they started at number 20. And that leads me to this next question for you, Nick. And I think this sort of sets up the larger discussion and sort of plays off what we got from Phil Steele the other day. When he was saying, look, there's about 7 teams that he thinks can go ahead and win the national championship this year. This is from Brett McMurphy. So he said, every year.
Yes.
Sorry, this is I started reading the wrong tweet.
Man, this is
What the hell?
anticlimactic right now. You're here. You got me on a cliffhanger.
I'm
here.
sorry.
Come on.
Look.
Do I got to read a blackout tweet while you're figuring things out?
What's the blackout tweet?
Oh, Brother B just says, let's roll. And he's got a picture of the blackout, and he's got some graphics of the helmet because he knows I'm a big fan of the helmet, too. But
this segment has gone off the rails.
It really has.
Where does this tweet go, damn it?
We started with what we thought was Eagles.
Ah,
music.
there you go. I found it.
Okay, thank God for that.
19 of the last, this is horrible.
This better deliver.
I apologize to the audience. In 19 of the past 22 years, every national champion has ranked among the AP Top 25's preseason top 7 teams. So this year, that's Ohio State, Oregon, Georgia, Notre Dame, Texas, Indiana, or Miami. 7, the same amount of teams that Phil Steele said have a shot at winning the national championship game. Here are the odds for you for those teams. Ohio State is plus 600, Oregon plus 800, Georgia plus 800, Notre Dame is plus 600. So Ohio State, Notre Dame, the 2 best odds. Texas plus 750, Indiana plus 900, Miami plus 1,000. Of those 7, which would you feel the most comfortable with?
That will finish outside the top 20. Or finish
No. That will win the national championship because
what will
19
win.
of the past 22 seasons, a team that was in the top 7 in the preseason AP poll won the national championship game. One of those 3 exceptions was last year, Indiana, who was number 20.
Right. So my options are the teams in the top 7, is what you're asking
Those
me?
top 7 teams, Ohio State, Oregon, Georgia, Notre Dame, Texas, Indiana, Miami.
God, this is – I'm going to go against the popular, okay, of course, because they're preseason number 1. I'm actually going to say Indiana. I'm going to go with Indiana.
I like that pick.
You're coming off of a pedigree that has now led, finally, just in 2 years, that you've got a national championship out of this. Kurt Cignetti has clearly found a formula. They've got a pretty damn good core coming back, too, other than quarterback, but that's not been anything new. He's been able to replace now 2 quarterbacks. And before
I'm not concerned about that at all.
Before Curtis Rourke got hurt,
all.
who knows? Like, Curtis Rourke gets hurt, and they still had a really good season the first year in the college football playoff. Last year, they ride Mendoza all the way to a college football national championship with a pretty salty defense coming back, too. Yeah, I would say
by the
Indiana.
way, like the knock on Hoover is he's turnover prone.
Sure.
For kind of different reasons than Calandria.
Mm-hmm.
But like last year, just 6 interceptions for Fernando Mendoza. Now, he didn't have that rep, so to say. I mean, he threw 10 picks at Cal in his first season. But look, I trust them to take care of the football. I think Notre Dame makes a lot of sense for me for a team that was PO'd, that it was left on the outside last year.
Yeah.
That's a team that I think is going to come with them. Now, here's the thing. Their schedule's easier, so they don't really have a whole lot of space for a screw-up. I mean, if they drop a game they shouldn't, they're screwed.
Okay, here's one I'm going to throw at you, and this is also tweeted out by Brett McGriffey. When I saw this earlier, thought, oh, this is interesting. This is another reason why I didn't take Ohio State.
Okay.
So, of the past 22 AP Top 25s, the preseason number 1 ranked team, 20 have failed to win the national championship. Alabama was the last to do it in 2017. So this is what you're up against, Ohio State.
Alabama, a team
Congratulations.
outside the top 10 in the preseason poll for the first time in 18 years.
Yes.
Which, that was Phil Steele's dark horse team, which is like, come on.
Mm-hmm.
In what world,
To give you guys some more context here, because Grant brought up the fact that 19 of the past 22 national champions have come from inside that AP preseason top 7. The only 3 to not do it were Indiana last year, where they were ranked number 20. 2013, Florida State was ranked number 11 in the AP preseason poll. And then 2010, Auburn started the preseason at number
Cam
22
Newton.
before Cam Newton led them.
So
to
you
another
had
national
James.
title.
This is bad of me. Jameis didn't win the Heisman in 2013, did he?
No, wasn't that Mariota?
That was the year Mariota
I
got
think
it,
that was
but he was a
Mariota's
finalist.
year. Yeah,
So
he
in
was.
those situations, right, you've got Fernando Mendoza wins the Heisman, untouted quarterback coming into the year. Cam Newton.
It was Jameis Winston in 2013.
Oh, was Winston, okay.
So all 3 of those guys won the Heisman.
Yes,
so
that is correct.
That's all you need to do. You either need to be in the top 7 or have your quarterback win the Heisman Trophy. And it's pretty simple.
Also, this is the one. Okay, Nebraska, let's get excited about this. And every year, and this is again according to Brett McMurphy.
He was all over it today.
Yeah, there were some
This
fun
is
ones.
So good.
Every year except 2019, there has been at least one preseason top 10 team that finished the year. I'm sorry, no, this isn't the one I'm looking at. I see
Now
it.
it's
It happened.
you.
Yeah, because now he's got all of these different ones. Okay, here it is. Oh no, I just lost it. My gosh.
Okay, how
that
about
does
this?
happen.
These are teams that got finished unranked. Unranked teams from last year's top 25 poll, which, again, like we had this whole SVP hates preseason top 25 poll debate recently. And I thought, look, there's some merit to his argument that he's making, right? Because it shapes our perceptions of teams for the entire season when we don't really know anything. And now we probably know as little as we maybe have ever known about teams going into seasons because of the transfer portal.
Yeah.
But these are all teams that finished the year unranked. So when you look at this poll, we get something to talk about right now. But, I mean, come on. Last year, Penn State number 2, Clemson number 4, LSU number 9, Arizona State 11, Illinois 12, South Carolina 13, 15 Florida, SMU 16, Kansas State 17, Iowa State, Tennessee, Boise State all finished the year unranked. Those last 3, of course, all outside the top 20. But come on now. Like,
here's the one I was
going to
looking
look
for.
very different at the end of the year.
Ponder this one over the break here as we get ready to talk to Lincoln Arneal here in just a moment. But at least one team that started the season unranked finished in the top 10 in the final AP Top 25 in 29 of the last 32 years. So if you're not ranked, there's a good chance one of you is going to be in the top 10 when season ends.
There you go.
There it is. All right.
And Phil Steele said Nebraska starts 5-0.
Hey, they'll
be ranked.
He said they're going to be ranked. We'll see.
Which I don't know if I agree with that. But,
how far can you carry that? All right, speaking of how far you can carry some momentum, some good stuff from the red-white scrimmage yesterday with the Husker volleyball team. We'll get Lincoln Arneal's takeaways when we come back. It is AM 590 WOW, Handley and Hansen.
There's never a good time for a garage door to quit. Stuck halfway, loud as a freight train, or just done. When it happens, go to Langfeld Overhead Door. 25 years fixing and installing doors all over Omaha. Free estimates, and they get out to you fast. New opener, broken spring, or a full replacement, one call handles it. Request service now at langfelddoors.com. That's langfelddoors.com. Get it working right.
Evan, Canty, and Michelle are unsportsmanlike.
It's an indictment on everybody that has fingerprints on the decision to draft J.J. McCarthy. Everybody that had a voice in that room that picked J.J. over Bo Nix is on the hot seat right now as far as I'm concerned. The only question is, how much of a hand did head coach Kevin O'Connell have in all of it?
Unsportsmanlike with Evan, Canty, and Michelle. Every weekday morning, AM 590, WOW.
Summer is so much more than just nice weather. It means taking out the boat or the golf cart or the Harley out of the garage. But when it's been a few months since those have started up, and they won't, that's where Action Batteries comes in. At Action Batteries, it all starts with us. Whether it's your car battery or your lawn and garden battery, we've been doing it all since 1982. So you can focus on having some fun this summer. Action Batteries Unlimited offers free installation of batteries in most vehicles. Find us at 79th and J Street or online at actionbatteries.com.
At John Henry's, we know when the lights go out, life doesn't have to stop. John Henry's installs Generac home standby generators that automatically power your home during outages, keeping your HVAC running, your refrigerator cold, and your family comfortable. Generac generators are built for reliability and peace of mind. Make the easy call to John Henry's and schedule your free in-home estimate today.
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing, Heating and Air,
and Electrical.
Hi, this is Dave Navity. Every Saturday, right here on AM 590 WOW, my show, Saturday Mornings with Dave Navity, is the place to be. 6 to 9 every Saturday. We'll cover news, politics, current events, and anything else my brain decides to conjure up. One promise, it'll be entertaining, and it'll be the right way to start your Saturday morning right here on AM 590 WOW.
Welcome back to Handley and Hansen. Give us a call and share your thoughts. 531-895-0590.
Hey, don't forget Generational Beef Trivia, sponsored by the Pit Barbecue Lounge, starts on Friday. Well, we'll continue. It had a good one last week, and so looking to keep that going every Friday. You can test your knowledge across the generations, pitting Boomer against Gen X or Millennial versus Gen Z, all to win a $25 gift card to the Pit Barbecue Lounge just off of Highway 370 and 72nd. So,
shout out to Jeff, who won our
Jeff
gift card
win
last week.
And shout out to Travis, who tried.
Travis.
I'm sorry, those questions were hard.
No, Travis got screwed.
Yeah.
But that's actually part of the game. Is it not? Is it not?
I mean, I wanted to win that thing in regulation. We had to go overtime.
And then we had to go to double OT.
I know. That was
And then Justice was like scrambling to come up with another random question. I mean, whoa. Anyway,
just thrown in like a random math question.
We'll see. Get ready though, you trivia gurus out there, and get a chance to win some barbecue.
It'll be a good time. Speaking of a good time, it was a good time yesterday out in Lincoln. Red-white volleyball scrimmage going on as that continues into fall camp, not only just for football but for volleyball as well. Lincoln Arneal, who I imagine, I don't know why I think this, Lincoln Arneal would be very good at trivia. Is trivia your jam? Do you like doing like trivia nights?
Yeah, we used to go every Wednesday night down in downtown Lincoln pre-pandemic at Hopcat. We would dominate. So I have several $100 of gift cards.
You're gonna have to call Friday 4:00. Just see what you can do.
Well, I'll represent the millennials very proudly then.
Oh, millennial. Okay, so and see, for people who are not watching the stream, you couldn't see this very confident, sort of very dismissive, like, yeah, we're pretty good look on Lincoln's face. I don't think the radio version did it justice. But did yesterday's red-white scrimmage do what this team can ultimately accomplish this year for Nebraska volleyball, Justice? What did you like about it?
If you want to see great defense, then yes. I don't know if it did a lot for the confidence in the offense, because the offense was it was a struggle bus at times. I think that the defense, and Danny Busman-Kelly said this after the match too, that the defense is definitely ahead of where the offense is at this point. But I think what you saw you saw flashes from a lot of players in there too, but you got to be very excited about what you saw specifically from Manayo Beche, Jaden Robinson were two of the standouts to me, and everyone else did what they were supposed to do. But I think those two really kind of maybe increased their stock going into the regular season.
Lincoln, I want to go there. I want to go to Manayo Beche, because you get a quote on Thursday from Danny Busman-Kelly saying, look, you take Andy Jackson out of this middle blocker group, and it's still one of the best, if not the best, middle blocking group in the country. And you kind of like, okay, maybe this is just some preseason Nebraska bluster. And then Manayo Beche comes out there in the red-white scrimmage and records 13 blocks. Yeah. She was all over the floor. What'd you make of her performance?
Yeah, this is what you wanted to see. I mean, I think most programs would kill to have Manayo Beche and Kenna Cogill as their starting middle blockers. And Nebraska, 2 and 3 options right now. She is a very physical presence at the net too. She said that she's really been working on her eyes, being able to read where the attacker's going, look for any kind of tip that the setter's going to go, where she's going to set the ball to. And granted, she's also playing against teammates, which she sees every single day, maybe has a better read on them than maybe other opponents they'll likely see this season. But just the physical nature of where she was able to play and put balls down. And they also touched a lot of other balls that didn't go for blocks, but set up the back row very well. Because, part of the block's job, yes, is to stop attacks, score points. The other part is to either, one, slow down the attacks, make it a lot more easy to ball, or funnel an attack to where the defense is lined up to. So it's not just scoring points that the block is very effective with. And I thought she did really good on reading and getting in position to make plays and set up her teammates for success as well.
Talking with Lincoln Arneal here on Handley and Hansen, AM 590 WOW. Of course, Lincoln College Volleyball Insider, also host of the Volleyball State podcast. I know with the different venue, it being at Pinnacle Bank Arena, there was still just a shade, under 11, just about 10 and a half or so.
10-7.
10-7, there you go. So, knowing that it was going to have a bigger opportunity for people to see that number to me still for a scrimmage is fantastic. I'm curious, though, did you think it was going to exceed that number?
I was kind of keeping an eye on it. I was surprised that it didn't sell out because you thought that the demand for Nebraska volleyball in any shape or any form is just sky high. That I was a little bit surprised. I don't know if it was a Sunday afternoon or everyone's kind of busy getting back to school and just wanted to take a Sunday afternoon off. And the prices were a little bit elevated, but compared to some other regular season matches, this was a steal. So I was a little surprised it wasn't higher, but this is still higher than than capacity at the new Devaney Center and John Cook Arena. So it's good to see. And the red-white scrimmage is always weird because the fans don't know who to cheer for. Are we cheering that, yes, someone got a point or someone got blocked or someone got a kill? Or are we disappointed because the other person got blocked or the defense missed a dig there too? So it's a weird atmosphere, but I thought it was a good crowd, and they did a good job kind of filling in the void of the sound sometimes between the points.
Supernova's coaches have trained me well, and so has Renee Saunders, my broadcast partner for Supernova's matches. I always gravitate towards serve and pass. And Nebraska in this game generated 13 aces. Is it more a function of Nebraska actually taking serious steps forward in the serving game? Because I know there's more to it than just generating points off of aces. You want to force bad passes as well and get the opposing side in a predictable position for their offense. Or is it a situation where, look, Nebraska maybe has some passing issues?
I think it's more of the former. I think Nebraska has made a really big point of serving tough. And to me, the two people that stood out were Andy Jackson. She had a couple back-to-back aces too, but I love the angle in which she serves. And then I think Bergen Riley was a little more aggressive as well. And I think, we talk about the overall hitting percentage. I think both teams combined to hit under 100. That also is attributed a little bit to serving it. I think they served a little bit tough. And it wasn't just one player was having a bad serve receive day. There's a lot of players that were missing, which again is not a sign of a weakness, I think, in the back row, but just kind of the serving was really tough. Annie Jackson, her back-to-back, first one, I think, caught Skylar Pierce and she kind of shanked it. The next one caught Harper Murray, and Harper Murray is a very good passer, and just it caught her, and it was a wicked serve that she couldn't handle and kind of knocked her to the floor. So I think it was more aggression, and that's kind of, it showed up a little bit yesterday. And that's one of those hard things that you wish you had the advanced analytics to see how out of system they were versus in system and kind of their first ball kill percentage. So I think the serving was better, more so than it is a worry that passing is going to be an issue.
It's Handley and Hansen here on AM 590 WOW. We're talking with Lincoln Arneal. Lincoln, I want to go back to what you brought up with the very superb defensive showing, but also maybe a little bit sloppy on the offensive side of it. It's always interesting when we talk football after those first scrimmages and you hear the offense is ahead of the defense or vice versa. When you are at this part of fall practice, is that typical based on your experience where the defense does have a little bit of that upper hand, or is this just based on roster experience and where your true strengths at least lie right now?
I think it's more kind of the implementation side of things too, because Nebraska also ran a very basic offense. There weren't a lot of crossing patterns. They kind of ran some slides, moved the middle blockers around a little bit, but there wasn't a lot of combination patterns. I think that you want to make sure you have the basics down before you get to the advanced stuff. And also, I think Nebraska doesn't want to put a lot out on film before they go down and play Texas for that first weekend of the season too. So I think it was a very vanilla type of offense. So maybe that played into a little bit. So they were a little bit more predictable and weren't trying to necessarily blow the doors off the defense and keep them guessing where they were going. But so I think that I would say that's one of the reasons why. And because, I mean, the hitters, a lot of them have been working with the setters for 7 months now. And also blocking and defense is one of the last skills that is the hardest transition for especially the freshmen from preps to college level. So I think it was a very basic showing on the offense, and the defense is going to be the defense. There's not much you can do to kind of hide or camouflage what you're trying to do there.
Mm-hmm. Lincoln, I've been sort of formulating an opinion here over the last couple of weeks, and I just wanted to get your read on it. As Nebraska approaches this season, especially for the seniors and for this group as a whole, they will have all the physical tools and talent they need to win a national championship. But to me, the biggest hurdles that this team will ever have to clear will be ones of the mental variety. It is going to be the mental challenges that will decide whether this season is a national championship season for Nebraska volleyball or not. What say you?
Yes, I think that and just outside factors are also kind of a big influence too. But I remember I've seen the last couple of years, you see a team that maybe early in the tournament faces their tournament life. They're facing a match point or they're 2 points away. I mean, Texas A&M was 2 points away. And then a couple of years ago, I think Texas faced match point in the regional semifinals. I think that was against Cal. It was out in Stanford or someplace like that. And then they realized that, hey, we survived that. What do we got to lose? And they played just so much more free. So I mean, that goes to that mental approach that they're taking, that if they're playing with pressure, like, oh, we're expected to win this. If we don't win a national title this whole year, my whole career has been a failure. I think that's the wrong approach. That's where kind of you get that mental aspect too. But this group seems very attuned to what the expectations are, and they're trying to have as much fun. And I think the other interesting part about this is, hopefully I'll have more about this later this week, is that they have a new director of volleyball player who's also working on the mental side, Sean Smith, who we saw yesterday give Trey Sigler the lifter of the year. He's not just working on the physical side, he's also tackling the mental side too, and kind of combining the physical and mental approach to volleyball. So I'm going to be interested to see what his approach is and the impact he has on the team as we go along.
Lincoln, anything else that stood out? Did we cover it all? That's a loaded question.
What's weird is, this is the first time we saw Nebraska play at PBA, and we're not going to see him in person in Lincoln Town for another month. So I think that's going to be the fun part about what happens in the next month. You talk about the mental aspect, the mental grind of not sleeping in your own bed. You're traveling all across the country. So I think that this team, they had a lot of fun. I think that they were bought into what Danny Busman-Kelly is doing. And there's that. I will say the other exciting part is they had a interesting 6'4" German recruit sitting on the bench for Liliana Scanlan or something like that. I butchered her name, so I'm much better at writing it than I am saying it out loud. But she's an intriguing 2028 prospect that was in the building too. They had a couple other current commits, Shayla Rottenberger, Mallory Bosinger, and Jocelyn Samuels from South Dakota were all there, but she's an uncommitted 2028 prospect. So that's something to keep an eye on. And I was standing behind the bench. She stood up and like, oh, she's still going. She is quite tall.
Lincoln Arneal, again, always appreciate you coming on. If for any of the Husker volleyball fans, especially as we kind of get into that period between now and the first game, be sure to check out Volleyball State Podcast. Lincoln is one of the best covering the entire sport, but especially Nebraska. Appreciate you coming on, Lincoln. We'll talk soon, man.
Gentlemen, thank you for having me. Have a good one.
All right, we got some more takeaways from that. And Lincoln brought up something about that road grind. And immediately I think of what a lot of the ball bat sports go through with baseball and softball as well.
Oh, yeah.
There's a big difference when it comes for volleyball, though. And we'll get into that and also some of the takeaways from yesterday as we continue. It's Handley and Hansen on AM 590 WOW.
Wing Haven in Millard is doing wings the right way. Easy on the wallet, but hard on battling your appetite. Every sauce is scratch made, and they keep getting better. Want to try something new? Haven Umami Bomb Rub might be right for you. Something hot? Try the legendary Haven Sauce of Hell. Looking for something a little more casual? Get them with garlic parm or lemon pepper. And hey, if you're looking to save even more, mention this ad or AM 590 for 10% off. Open every day till 11 at 138th and P. Wing Haven. Run for wings.
Omaha is a sports town, and if you haven't experienced the Omaha Supernovas, this is the season. General Manager John Cook has assembled a roster built to bring another championship to Omaha, featuring former Husker Merritt Beeson, Creighton's Kiara Reinhardt, and stars from around the volleyball world. Join Nova's Nation for all 13 home matches at CHI Health Center starting this January and experience the loudest, most electric atmosphere in professional volleyball. Secure your season tickets today at supernovas.com and join the world's #1 professional volleyball fan base.
In the Midwest, we experience all 4 seasons, sometimes before lunch. 1 minute it's sunny, and the next you're searching for your flashlight. Skip the panic and enter the Generac Power Play giveaway from AM 590 WOW and generators for sale. Just visit 590WOW.com and tell us what you want to protect when the power goes out, and you'll be automatically entered to win a professionally installed Generac whole house generator worth nearly $15,000. But don't wait. Register at 590WOW.com.
Behind every successful move is someone who's listening, guiding, and looking out for the details. That's the advantage of working with the Nebraska Eastern Real Estate team with Better Homes and Garden Real Estate, Don Peterson and Associates. Blair Horner, Steve Stager, and James Liepert are ready to provide you with trusted advice, exceptional service, and a shared commitment to helping you make your next move with confidence. Connect with us today at donpeterson.com or call us at 402-936-6140.
Omaha heat can be brutal, and a broken AC makes it worse. If your system can't keep up, call Controlled Comfort for fast, professional cooling service. Their certified technicians diagnose issues quickly and restore comfort when you need it most. Stay cool, protect your system, and avoid costly breakdowns. Homes and businesses alike enjoy reliable indoor comfort through the hottest days of summer across Omaha all season long. Schedule your service today at ControlledComfort.com.
Control Comfort keeps it under control.
It's Gorilla Car Wash. Jeff Ballinger here. #1 with the touchless car washes for how long?
Jack, we're running on 2 decades now, and I don't know a lot of things that have been #1 for 20 consecutive years, but Gorilla Car Wash has.
Let me see. I'm trying to think. I can't come up with anything. The great thing about Gorilla Car Wash, it's convenient, open 24/7.
And we're locally owned, Jack. It's nice to have local people involved, touchless automatics, and guess what? The customers seem to love us 2 decades in a row.
GorillaWash.com.
Summer evenings just seem better when you have a home you truly love. Imagine relaxing on the patio, hosting the grandkids, or simply enjoying the peace and comfort of a beautifully crafted home designed for the way you live today, specifically for you. At Edward Custom Homes, our homes are maintenance-free, so you can enjoy company in your backyard. No mowing needed. Award-winning, maintenance-free homes at Edward Custom Homes in a growing Elkhorn community. Book your private tour at edwardcustomhomes.com. Kick back and strap in for some lively conversation. Handley and Hansen on AM 590 WOW.
Back with you, Handley and Hansen, AM 590 WOW. Big thanks to Lincoln Arneal joining us just a second ago. 531-895-0590, the number to get in contact with the show today. Anything has surprised you from the AP poll? Probably not that much. Maybe. Who knows? And if there's a team, again, Ohio State, Oregon, Georgia, Notre Dame, Texas, Indiana, Miami. It's in the top 7 that you said, I could believe it. I could believe one of those teams would win the college football national championship, or that you'd be willing to say, look, I think they will win the college football national championship. Give us a call, or if you have a take from the red-white scrimmage. Just running down a few of my thoughts from this whole thing, Nick. I don't know, forecasted is the wrong word, but I said before on Friday, I was like, look, it's going to be hard to evaluate the serve and pass game when you come out of this, because you're not going to be able to tell, is Nebraska struggling from a passing standpoint right now, or are they serving tougher? 13 aces is a lot. Now, again, if it was one team total, it'd be something different. But the passing was not where it needed to be at all, which is sort of somewhat normal. It's sort of a lot like tackling, I think. Just at this point in the season, it's like you're going to have some missed tackles earlier in the year. And you have that question every year. I think passing is somewhat similar. Now, they don't have a whole lot of time to figure it out. With you're playing Texas, the second real match of the season. Lincoln made a good point, too, on Andy Jackson. If that float serve from Jackson is something that she can take into the rest of the year, she's going to be very, very scary. Because you get into a situation where you've got the contact point where she's hitting the volleyball with her height and wingspan makes it very, very difficult to pass if executed properly. So that was one thing that like just watching that live, I was like, oh, okay, I'm on board. As with Manaya Obeche,
that block number is
force.
That block number is insane. Like I don't have to be Joe Volleyball to know that is a really impressive feat. And what's always interesting is people, they poo-poo it because it's a glorified scrimmage or practice. Well, yeah, but look at who they're scrimmaging and practicing against.
Sure.
Essentially another team that if you split them in squads would be another top 25 team. So I don't dismiss that. That's kind of a big deal. Now, Lincoln brought up something that was relatable to me about now this team kind of working a little bit more under the radar. They're going to get ready to hit the road. They obviously got the big showcase out in Dallas, or I should say Arlington, out at AT&T Stadium.
Then Vegas.
And then, you got Vegas. Then you'll eventually have Wrigley Field where they take on Missouri. But a lot of this travel, and I immediately thought of that first month that you typically see, or at least the first 3 weeks of the baseball and the softball season, where you're spending the majority of your weekends on the road and you're spending very little time at home. And it can be a bit of a grind. It can do things to you. Now, first of all, obviously Nebraska Volleyball, they're chartering, so it's going to be a little bit more of a luxurious type of back and forth.
Sure.
But the other thing that I don't know if, when it comes to competition, it's not as big of a deal, but I do think in preparation for competition, this helps. And that's the way that this team is received everywhere they go. And this is where I go back to when John Cook really kind of embraced their presence on social media, and he got involved in the act as well. But all of the, we're just joking about TikTok. That none of us are on TikTok.
John Cook not on TikTok, but on video he is though.
Exactly, and that volleyball team, I talk about it all the time. They've made themselves extremely relatable to their fans, which makes them that much bigger rock stars. But I don't think it's just the Nebraska fans of the state of Nebraska. I think there is, as much as you can, in the very, very fast rising popularity when it comes to volleyball and that sport.
Mm-hmm.
This is as close to a Beatles in that
it's
sport,
Globetrotters,
as you can see, as far as when they go to a hotel or they're going out to eat or they're just out and about walking around in a completely different state, that people stop and are in awe of them. And look, when you've got several women that are 6 foot plus, obviously you're like, okay, they're part of some type of team.
Mm-hmm.
But the way they carry themselves, there's confidence, sure, but they're extremely approachable. And I just think that you don't feel isolated on the road when you have that way about you. And so I don't know. It just made me think of the differences between the baseball teams when they go out to Arizona. They're one of like 20 teams that are in Arizona that weekend.
Yeah.
So you don't know who's who. It's probably the same thing with softball as well. When you're going to all these different places, chances are you're not the only team from the Midwest that is in that place. But for Nebraska, they're rock stars.
Mm-hmm.
And I think when you do travel, it's probably, travel's travel, regardless of how you're received. But I think that's got to be a little bit better and a little bit more uplifting for them going into those different types of venues, knowing how well received they are really throughout the country. It's been remarkable to see that.
So their home opener is the 10th of September. This has got to be as late of a home opener as I can actually remember. Mm-hmm. I'm going back looking right now, like trying to find the last time it was this late, but it's not quite it's a month from now, essentially. And And then you get to check the boxes of Wrigley and Vegas. And I mean, it's a good test early too of like, and I think Ali Czech was talking about this on the broadcast on Nebraska Public Media with Larry Putney too. Just like it's going to build relationships with people because you're on the plane, you're away for so long.
Grant, to give you a little bit more context, because you were wondering about that stat of the latest home openers that Nebraska volleyball's had. If you don't take last year into account when they had the September 5th home opener, the latest that they've had since then is 2013 when they hosted Villanova on September 6th. So that's in recent memory, some of the later home openers they're going to have for Nebraska volleyball.
So, I mean, this is unique in that way. And, you know, it's cool too that you get like a really, you had the ABCA First Serve Showcase last year where you get to open in front of everybody in front of Pinnacle Bank Arena and get to open the Danny Busby Kelly that way with a top 5 opponent in Pitt. You know, this year they found a way to raise the bar, which they tend to do. So,
it's cool to, and if there is any program in athletics that deserves to have their own standalone weekend, it is this volleyball program. But there's always that itch, I think, that athletics is always going to have to make sure that they can try to at least coincide a Nebraska volleyball home opener, a true home opener, to within that first weekend that football also opens up, which unfortunately this year they're going to be out in Chicago. So that won't happen because that Friday the 4th, they're going to be playing DePaul out in Chicago at Wintrust Arena. So you don't necessarily have that, but yeah, I mean, it is kind of crazy that your first traditional home match is going to be second week of the college football season.
Yeah.
Which is, I mean, that is kind of rare, but yeah, I think for this team, and again, you're far more well-versed on a lot of the early things when it comes to how this team is trending. I considered this type of team, it's just kind of cool to have this when it comes to talking about any Nebraska sport, is that we put a heap of expectations on them. But what I take peace in when I talk about, national championship or bust or Final Four or bust,
because that's the standard.
That's what they put on themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So no matter what type of expectations you, or anybody else that follows this program has, rest assured they're putting even more pressure and expectations on them. But that's why they come here. They love that.
Right. And you welcome that. And that's the way you
end
up
back
being
it up.
that type of competitor. So, but like, that's my point with Lincoln, though, is like they will not lack for physical talent at any point this season, unless, God forbid, every player on that team is hurt. They will not lack for physical talent, and they will be the more talented team in many of the games they're playing, almost all of them.
Yeah,
and the challenge will be the mental side of it, because of what happened against Texas A&M last year, because of the nightmare against Texas, the seniors' freshman season in that sweep, and they get a chance to get rid of that demon early.
Yep,
with that second full match of the season. So they get a chance to tackle some of those mental challenges, but that'll be the hurdle.
Yeah,
because they've checked all the boxes everywhere else already.
When we come back, we're going to talk some Creighton basketball for a moment, because a return by a name that I know you'll remember, but you might have the same reaction I had and think, what? As a player or a coach? We'll tell you about who that is on the other side of the break. Coming up at the 4 o'clock, I'm going to be talking some more Husker football. Evan Bland of the Omaha World Herald set to join us then as well. It's Handley and Hansen here on AM 590 WOW.
Rich Eisen.
Jason McCourty here. Kyler or J.J. McCarthy in Minnesota?
You got to give Kyler a shot.
Do you really, Jason? Do you really have to give Kyler a shot?
Did you see the quarterback play last year?
9 was banged up, Jason.
9 was banged up. See, you got to do a little bit more for us to just refer to you as 9. And Buffalo, they refer to their quarterback as 17. I'm okay with that.
Rich Eisen. Every weekday, 11 to 2 on AM 590 WOW.
Make your business travel in style with custom vehicle wraps from Omaha Auto Wraps. Your car, truck, or SUV will become a moving advertisement, seen by hundreds of people daily. Visit Omaha Auto Wraps right now at omahaautorapps.com for a free design consultation. Put a wrap on your vehicle and grab attention. Visit them at 14609 Prairie Corner Road in Omaha, 1 block from the Amazon warehouse on Highway 370. And always online at omahaautorapps.com.
Hey, guys, it's Handley. Wanted to talk to you about my experience with the Men's Health Clinic out at 156th and Dodge in the Pepperwood Village. Look, from the initial consultation to going over my blood work, everything was explained to me in a way I could actually understand. Then we talked about different treatments and products that could potentially benefit me and my goals. Look, I've got a pre-arthritic knee from running, so the Wolverine peptide stack made a lot of sense for me, and I've already noticed less aching in my knee in just as little as 2 weeks. It's been fantastic. But honestly, the biggest thing for me was there was no pressure. They didn't tell me what I needed or if I needed a bunch of treatments. My testosterone level was all good, so they didn't push anything there. They looked at my results, listened to what I wanted to accomplish, and helped me understand what might, or better yet, might not make sense for me. And that's the point. You might need testosterone optimization, maybe a GLP-1 weight loss plan, peptides, or you might not need any treatment at all. But you won't know until you take that first step. Check out the Men's Health Clinic, 156th and Dodge in Pepperwood Village, or visit them at themenshealthclinic.com.
Hair Design Salon and Spa with a hair and nail salon on the first floor and an extensive spa on the second. There are so many reasons why they've been chosen Omaha's best since 1993. Check out their webpage and choose a service or two to soothe and recharge your senses. Creative Hair Design Salon and Spa. They are so looking forward to hearing from you.
Boomstock is back, and we're celebrating 5 far-out years. Join Boomer Radio August 29th on the Gene Leahy Mall for Boomstock 2026. Enjoy an evening of classic 60s and 70s vibes with live music from Bozak and Morrissey, Touch of Grey, and The Raw Nerve. Plus food trucks, raffles, games, a full bar, and more. Presented by Mutual of Omaha and benefiting the First Responders Foundation and the Stevens Center. General admission is free. Upgrade to VIP at boomstock.org.
Here's your updated Metro weather outlook. Ample sunshine expected this afternoon with highs around 85. Partly cloudy skies. Tonight, chance of thunderstorms. Lows of a low around 68. Right now, it's 85 degrees. I'm meteorologist Jennifer Wojcicki, and that's your updated Metro weather on AM 590 WOW. Online at 590WOW.com.
Kick back and strap in for some lively conversation. Handley and Hansen on AM 590 WOW.
The return of the King.
It's not as cool as Return of the Mac.
Fred King, to be exact, for the Creighton Blue Jays, as just recently reported. Fred King will be making his return to Creighton this season. He is one of the guys who has benefited from an eligibility lawsuit in Kentucky. More on that in a moment. It is Handley and Hansen, AM 590 WOW, 531-895-0590, the number to call and be a part of the show. I'm Grant Hansen along with Nick Handley and Justice Rhody, our producer. So Creighton's 26-27 roster is officially complete. This is the second such fifth-year eligibility lawsuit addition that Creighton has made in as many weeks. Fred King last year at Murray State, who had a career year there.
Yeah, did well.
Average over 13 points per game. I'll be interested to see how Creighton fans view his return because, just with him in this position of sort of always playing second fiddle while he was here
to
Ryan Kalkbrenner,
right.
He never got a chance to fully flourish. He had moments that were great. He had lackluster moments as well, and I don't really know where the fan base landed on him at the end. I think it was largely positive, but when he goes with Ryan Miller to Murray State, there wasn't a lot of people weeping in the streets and gnashing their teeth about this whole thing. So now he comes back. He's got that extra year of eligibility in terms of the lawsuit, and he's got another year of experience under his belt where he dominated at a lower level, and we'll see what he can provide.
Yeah, this one is interesting because, like you mentioned, he did well at Murray State. I don't think anybody was, I want to say, this makes it sound very unappreciative of his role when he was at Creighton before. But I think people, maybe this is the best way to put it, I think people understood why he left. I think, they wanted to see more minutes. He wanted to be the guy, the focal point. And still having another year of Ryan Kalkbrenner, he knew that wasn't going to happen. And I think the minutes were diminished a little bit even in his last year at Creighton, than they were the previous year. So I don't know if it was a situation where nobody necessarily respected what he did, but it was more of a, well, we understand why he's doing what he's doing. And this is kind of in a very similar situation with Jamarcus Lawrence, where
it's exactly the
you
same.
didn't want to see Jamarcus Lawrence go, but you kind of understood it. You kind of understood it. And then when
actually, never mind. Let me walk that back. I thought you were heading towards this exactly the same in the fifth-year eligibility deal.
Well,
but
there's that part of this too.
No, I mean, it was not similar in terms of the reason they left. I mean, I think everybody was shocked and very disappointed when he left and went to Rhode Island. Nobody saw that coming.
I think there were a lot of people talking that Jamarcus. I remember during this season, people were talking about, well, Jamarcus Lawrence might be someone you have to fight for to keep on the team,
but not to go to Rhode Island.
Not to Rhode Island, no. But there was at least a thought that Jamarcus Lawrence might be one of those guys.
Right. But
that could hit the
every
transfer
team
portal.
has that. Every team has that conversation these days. If anybody on your team that has eligibility left is playing well, there's going to be a fear you're going to lose them.
Sure, absolutely. And I'm not saying that Jamarcus Lawrence's role, had he returned to Nebraska, was going to be a similar situation if Freddie King had returned to Creighton. But the bottom line is, it's someone who did not leave on bad terms. That's the comparison I'm making.
Right.
Somebody who did not leave on bad terms. Somebody that when they left, people were more appreciative of them than they were like disgruntled, like, oh, we don't need you. Get the hell out of here. And then, so when they come back, I know I was with Jamarcus, curious what his overall role would be, much like even more so now with Frederick King, and wondering how this is going to look coming back into this roster, being that last addition to Alan Huss's team, how that's going to look, considering Freddie King was a MAC guy, and obviously Huss is very familiar with him, but still, it's just I'll be curious more than anything to see the fit. But I think just like Jamarcus Lawrence, there's probably not one Creighton fan's like, what the hell? We don't want this guy
I wonder
back.
too, and I don't know enough to know, but like, does he stack up now as a guy who is a major piece? Is he a depth piece again?
I think a depth piece,
where,
right?
Where does he land? Now, some of that, may have to do with additional variables that we're unaware of. But last year, 13 points a game, 8 rebounds, 2.1 blocks, averaging 24 minutes.
Yeah, first team
started 31 out of 32 games. I mean, you would think he was maybe at least one of the first guys off the bench as a big, but again, that's where I like my background on this is limited. So who knows what sort of role he plays. And again, like, does all this stuff get wrapped up? Like if the Save College Sports Act gets passed in September, well, this deal I think is null and void.
Yeah, that's because whenever it comes into law, that's the big question with a lot of these. I mean, we're talking earlier about Indiana. They've benefited having a defensive lineman return under that exact same injunction. So, this is the one thing that coaches, I think, all across the board in every sport have to be aware of, is if the Protect College Sports Act.
Hold on a second. I got some Lawrence stuff that just came across the wire. This is reading from the Field of 68. Nebraska's Jamarcus Lawrence, named in the California fifth-year eligibility lawsuit, told the Field of 68 he's been in contact with Michigan, USC, Troy, and Fresno State. The 6'3" guard averaged 9.8 points per game, 3.8 assists last season. He said he will not be returning to Lincoln. So there's the answer on Jamarcus Lawrence. And I don't know. We'll have Robin Washit on with us tomorrow.
Well, you know what? We don't want him. No, I'm kidding. I like Jamarcus Lawrence. I really wish that there was, I guess, maybe that interest of coming back.
Well,
maybe it could be something as simple as, I don't want to assume this, but maybe Fred Hoiberg said,
man,
we've moved on.
If he's playing for Michigan or USC, I mean, either of those teams would be really hard to stomach. Troy would be really weird too. So you've got two teams in the conference and the team that they beat in the first round of the NCAA tournament.
Yep.
But the thing with Troy that you have to consider is I believe they just hired a former Fred Hoiberg assistant, Adam Howard, who was at NC State with Will Wade the year before. Just to give you a little bit of context on the Fred King thing with Creighton, the big room's kind of loaded for the Blue Jays this year. You got Jason Green, who's going to take a forward spot. Jackson McAndrews coming back from that season miss with that ankle injury. Oswin Rumsey, there was murmurs that he might have suffered an injury in preseason, so we'll see what ends up going there. You still got Isaac Trout on the roster, so there's still a good bit of bigs on the that's in the mix for Creighton, and then there's the transfer that they brought into the JUCO ranks, 7'3". A couple of freshmen coming in, an overseas guy, 7-footer, and then a 6'11" guy in Trevin Carter-Givens. But this is a loaded big group. Adding Fred King to that, it's going to really shake up the dynamic for what Creighton wants to do. Don't know how many of those guys get minutes right away, but that's a pretty loaded front.
I mean,
Well,
I'm
Fred-
so excited to talk to Robin about this tomorrow.
Fred King is, out of all the guys you mentioned right there too, Fred King is really he's the paint guy. Like all the rest of those guys can stretch. They'll get out there beyond the perimeter. They'll put up some threes. Freddie King ain't doing that. He's getting in the middle. He's banging around in the middle. So, again, I just think it's a depth piece. Nothing more, nothing less. But, hey, good for Creighton. And now some interesting stuff with Jamarcus Lawrence there. Wrapping up hour number 2. When we come back, talk some more Nebraska football. Evan Bland set to join us as well. We'll talk about alternative uniforms. It's coming up. Handley and Hansen, AM 590, WOW.
The legend has returned. Sports Talk Huskers. AM 590. WOW. Omaha. This is SportsCenter.
I'm Nick DeLuca. Lakers opening a new chapter. The Buss family selling their remaining 17.8% ownership stake to new majority owners Josh Kushner and Bob Iger. After completion, Jeannie Buss will no longer be the team's governor, has been the franchise's chief decision maker since taking over for her late father Jerry back in 2013. The sale will still need approval from the league's board of governors. The NBA reportedly finding no evidence of Clippers owner Steve Ballmer funneling money through sponsors to Kawhi Leonard to circumvent the salary cap. League investigation instead focused on the team's introduction of Leonard to team sponsors and if it constitutes a violation of league salary cap rules. College football preseason rankings are in. Ohio State and Oregon 1-2 in the AP top 25, giving the Big Ten the top 2 teams in the preseason for the first time in 65 years. And just the second time ever, Ohio State will go into a season ranked number 1 for the 9th time, first time since 2015. Georgia, Notre Dame, and Texas rounding out.
If you run a small business, you've got to try Gusto. Get unlimited payroll runs and get your payroll taxes filed automatically. Offer health insurance, 401k, and more. Get started for free at gusto.com.
Omaha heat can be brutal, and a broken AC makes it worse. If your system can't keep up, call Controlled Comfort for fast, professional cooling service. Their certified technicians diagnose issues quickly and restore comfort when you need it most. Stay cool, protect your system, and avoid costly breakdowns. Homes and businesses alike enjoy reliable indoor comfort through the hottest days of summer across Omaha all season long. Schedule your service today at ControlledComfort.com.
Controlled Comfort keeps it under control.
In Nebraska, free speech is part of everyday life in the way we talk, listen, and come together as neighbors. Free speech means speaking up, asking questions, and sharing ideas. And staying informed is part of that freedom. That's why local news matters, keeping you connected with the facts that empower every voice to join the conversation. When Nebraskans stay informed and speak their minds, our communities grow stronger. Sponsored by Media of Nebraska.
If you don't know Jack, call Jill of All Trades, voted Best of Omaha 3 years in a row.
Kim from Jill of All Trades impressed me so much with our office renovation that I had to bring her out to my house. She transformed our backyard with new concrete patio, composite steps, and an amazing pergola. It's rare to find someone you trust with your business and your home, but Kim has earned that trust. She truly is a Jill of All Trades.
Call Kim at Jill of All Trades today, 402-905-8144. That's 402-905-8144.
Feeling stiff, sore, or worn down? 42 Degrees may be able to help. Their knowledgeable team listens first and explains wellness-focused options for everyday comfort with no pressure. Learn more at 42degrees.com. Trusted by Mom.
Superior Honda of Omaha has immediate openings for highly motivated new and used car sales professionals. High volume, great benefits, incredible support. Apply online at HondaofOmaha.com or call Eric Curtis at 402-612-9126.
Heartland Honors 9/11 is an initiative that unites the Omaha Metro in recognition of the 25th anniversary of September 11th. The Heartland Honors team is distributing free yard signs, which remind the community to remember 9/11 and to honor the spirit of community, service, and appreciation for first responders. To pick up a sign or to get more information, just go to heartlandhonors9-11.com. That's heartlandhonors9-11.com. Thank you for your support.
Have you ever heard of lion's mane mushrooms? It's a mushroom that looks like a brain, and the supplement supports memory that may help with anxiety or depression. Also contains antioxidants and fiber that can support gut and immune health. Capsules of lion's mane are on sale all this month at both No Name Nutrition markets.
No Name Nutrition, the natural place to shop.
Le Peep has been Omaha's favorite breakfast destination for a reason. Whether you're meeting with friends for brunch, catching up over coffee, or enjoying a family breakfast, Le Peep serves fresh, made-from-scratch favorites you'll come back for again and again. Pair your meal with a handcrafted coffee made from locally sourced espresso and discover why Omaha has voted Le Peep the #1 best breakfast for 19 years. Stop by one of our 4 convenient locations and taste the Le Peep difference for yourself.
Welcome back to Handley and Hansen on AM 590 WOW.
Hey, glad you're with us on a Monday. It's Handley and Hansen, AM 590 WOW. Get in on the conversation at any time throughout the day. 531-895-0590. Would love to know what you think of the alternate uniforms, because I know we've waited 2 hours to talk about this, but we got to get into it because I think there is an interesting element based on Matt Rhule's reaction when he was asked about it on Saturday. But if you want to weigh in on that or anything, again, 531-895-0590. You can also email us. I am Nick at 590WOW.com. He is Grant at 590WOW.com.
Like
and
Jamarcus Lawrence.
Our producer, Justice, at 590WOW.com. Yes, so that was interesting, and we will get back into that. Jamarcus Lawrence reportedly will not return to Nebraska, but is entertaining offers from Michigan, USC, Troy, Fresno State.
Fresno State.
Fresno State. I almost said San Jose.
San Jose State. He's going with Tim Miles.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Hey, that would hurt. That one would cut a bit.
No, I think most people would be okay with that.
I don't know. No.
I love Tim Miles.
I would rather he go to San Jose State than Michigan.
Yeah, obviously if he's in the Big Ten.
If he plays for a Big Ten team, it's going to be really sad.
Yeah.
I hope he doesn't. Look, as much as people feel like Berke stuck a knife in the back of the fan base when he decided to transfer, at least he went to Vanderbilt. At least he went to a school that's not in the conference.
And Nebraska beat them.
Now, I'm not saying that Jamarcus Lawrence going to any other school is a betrayal or like he's sticking in the back
what if he went
a knife
to Iowa?
in the back of the fan base.
What if he went to Iowa?
I'm just saying it would be really, really sick if it was a Big Ten team that he ended up landing with. But he's got to do the best thing for him and land in the best spot. So
it
would just be hard.
I have no inside knowledge whatsoever. This is a gut reaction, but I still think this has more to do with Nebraska moving on than it is ultimately Jamarcus's list of who he has. That's just me.
I agree with that. I agree with that.
So Saturday, as you were waking up, maybe a little bacon and eggs, getting ready for the weekend, you saw the Darkness Returns video. You're like, oh, the Darkness Returns. You had to know what was coming. You saw the nightfall on Memorial Stadium, very well-produced social media video that the Nebraska Athletic Department just continues to do a great job of. And then, boom, there are the uniforms. You get the information of the dates, the official date, which didn't really shock anybody. It will be on Halloween against Washington. Big
Too
game.
easy.
Yep. Then you get the uniform. And so there's a lot at play here with the uniform because I still think there are a lot of people that are trying to wrap their mind around that new look, just basic red and white uniform that Nebraska will be sporting in 2026. I personally don't mind it.
I don't have firm opinions on the uniform. Like the Ram stripes are strange.
Yeah.
They feel weird, but in 3 years, I don't think I'll even notice them. Like it'll just be the uniform.
The thing that I was really curious about, because if you remember when Nebraska has gone alternate uniforms, they've always kept the N in the helmet. Whether they've gone black with the red N or just the white helmet with the black N. Last year when they did the blackout uniforms, it was still more of that traditional look, just changed up the red to a black N. This year, they have gone completely the other way with the helmet. And with the script Huskers across the side, the black helmet has sort of the red speckles in there as well.
Mm-hmm.
I got to admit, guys, I tweeted this out. This is ridiculous. Okay, this is what's even crazier. I tweeted out a vague opinion of what I thought about this, and it had already like over 300 likes today. I mean, this is the type of topic that people gravitate to.
It is strange.
And my thought on that, and I'll verbalize it here on this radio program, is that, yeah, I love the clean looks. I love the traditional Nebraskas, USC's, Penn State's, Alabama, Texas. I love those traditional uniforms. But when you want to throw something that's completely off the wall for one game and just changed up a little bit, I'm all about it as long as it's done in a way that you're like, damn, okay, that looks good. I think this uniform, more than anything, this helmet.
The helmet is amazing.
Is awesome. I freaking love this uniform.
Yeah, I don't have firm uniform opinions most of the time. I think we discussed there's extremes where I do have opinions. This is in the extremely good category.
Oh, so you do have an extreme opinion. It's extremely good.
Yeah, no, like that's what I'm saying. Like there's also extremely bad. That would be the Bills' alternate uniforms that we discussed at the very outset of the show back in July. This is on the other side of it. I mean, I love these. I think the red looks cool. I actually think the red stripes with the black look really cool.
I think they look better than their basic uniforms this year with the way that the stripes come out in the red and black. I think it's awesome.
On these, I think I agree. I don't know if like the whole body. I think like the stripes, check.
Yeah, on these
the
particular
Husker scripts on the helmet is really cool. That's a huge winner. You got GBR. Those of you looking for winning tradition, that's back also on the helmet. These are really sweet. They did a great job with these. I mean, here's the thing. Like, I don't want uniforms ever to be meh.
Yeah,
there have been
plenty
of times that they've
right.
done alternate uniform that it's been meh.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think it was either 22 or 20 that they did like the retro helmet uniforms, and those
the one
sucked.
That looked like it had a leather helmet.
Those were awful.
I dug them. I dug those. I thought they were cool.
Like there's a lot of the Frost era alternate uniforms were awful. I thought the alternate that they did with the military service uniforms, I thought those were cool. I think they wore those against Buffalo, didn't they?
Yes.
That makes sense. I thought they did a good job with those, but for the most part, they've been bad a lot in the last decade or so.
The alphabet ones, well, there are two that were the worst ones. There are the alphabet ones that they wore in 2012 against Wisconsin, where it looked like literally they had a big N on their jersey, and then Wisconsin had a W with a tiny little number in the upper left breast area. Those ones sucked. And then there was
the ones that wore against Illinois.
Yes, the Illinois ones were putrid.
15. They were also black.
I remember. No, they were. Those ones were dark red. And the
numbers were black.
Yes, the numbers are black,
Sorry,
and they were shiny. It looked like duct tape, and you could not read the numbers from far away. I remember being in the press box of that game. I'm like, I cannot tell who's who. Those were terrible. Now, sneaky good ones would have been 2016 when they went to Northwestern. They wore those all white, and they were kind of chromed out. Those were pretty cool. These ones, because the helmet went so far off the beaten path, the only other time that I can remember, other than there was the was it the 300 sellout game that Sue was still part of? Roy Halou was on that. They did the old school classic uniforms, and they just had like the numbers on the side of the helmet. And then the throwbacks where it looked like they had leather helmets, I actually kind of thought was kind of cool.
I hate those.
When
those,
you go,
those literally never look good.
When you go all black with the Huskers script on it, you knew that thing was going to probably draw a little bit of conversation. Based on everything I was seeing on social media from just the reaction to my post, people for the most part liked them. The only pushback some people had is they're just not big fans of the all black.
Which I don't understand that,
uniform.
man. Like there's people out there that are like, there's certain schools that should never have an alternate uniform ever.
Nope.
I'm like, you are crazy.
I disagree with that. I completely disagree with that.
I mean, you're welcome anytime
now
to debate me on that. But it's like, no, to act like any team is above alternates, that's a crazy take. Because people want, like, the players want to wear them.
Exactly.
The players want one time where you wear an alternate uniform.
Now, Justice, I believe we have the Rhule audio on the alternate uniforms. Saturday, again, very all business was the fearless leader, Matt Rhule. He was asked about the reaction of the team to the unveiling that day of the alternate uniforms. This was his reaction.
I didn't show it to him. I don't know. I mean, they would have seen it, I think, on social media. Maybe Jay showed them at some point. I don't know. Did Jay show them? But I think that hit while we were on the field, so they're probably seeing them now for the first time. So, like the releases and the release dates and what they film and all that, none of that's really me. I don't get too involved in the uniforms. They show it to me. I mean, you see the way I dress the same thing every day. So, but I thought it was a really cool atmosphere last year, the blackout. I thought, kids who came to that game, as I've gone back and recruited them, they talk about the energy, the passion, that was in the crowd that night. I don't know if Washington probably be a day game, night game. I don't know, but times it well with Halloween, and to do one alternate. I think the thought process here is just to do one alternate jersey uniform a year, being black, having a blackout, and then having our iconic uniforms, red and white and red at every other game. We're going to wear black cleats. We're not going to wear white cleats. We're not going to wear red cleats. We're going to just wear the same thing every game and let the football speak for itself. But I think the blackout is really cool nationally. It's really cool in recruiting. The fans all have a black Nebraska jacket when it gets close to November, so it makes for an easy sell. And I thought our fans rallied around it last year. So, like all things, some people might like it, some people don't. But certainly the recruits and the players like it. And looked like last year a lot of people liked it, so they look nice to me. But like I said, I don't know much style wise. So if the guys like it, then great.
That's the right take. That's the right take. That's usually my take. I'm like, unless you're in the extremes, either extremely bad or extremely good, you can wear whatever you want as your alternate uniform. It's not going to bother me. Like the city edition Tulane uniforms. People were like drooling over those last week, like the Mardi Gras uniforms. I'm like, these, I think these look horrible. I don't think they really make a difference to me. But again, like these Nebraska ones, extremely good. And what matters with the blackout, which we can get into too, what matters is the players and the recruits think it's really cool.
I don't buy his reaction.
That's what matters.
I don't buy his reaction. I don't. I think he was staying in that mode of all business. The fact that, and I think Shane brought this up in the chat as well, there's a video by Kyle Kotras, who's one of the head equipment guys there with gosh, I'm completely blanking his name. Lee
Not
Terry.
Damon Benning.
But they were talking about the creation, and Kyle mentions that, there was a collaboration, a lot of people with Adidas and Matt Rhule. This was something that was like a year in the making of coming up with this. So he's playing it off. He likes these things. He was part of creating it. I don't like, dude, okay, I get you're trying to be all business, but you were part of this. You're part of creating it. Like, enjoy it. Like, I don't think there's anything wrong with like saying, yeah, they're pretty cool. Did you guys see it? Yeah, it's cool. I think he was just trying to be so laser focused. I'm like, dude, a year ago, you would be all over that saying, this is awesome. Did you guys see that? And now it's like, I can't say that. Yeah, you can. Like, I don't think if he was excited about him, anybody would have said, oh, man, why don't you worry about winning football games?
I don't know, man. Some people would have said that.
I don't.
Someone said that to your tweet.
I know, but I don't think
in your tweet they're like, you know what would be nice?
Sure,
we would win.
And they're right. And you know
Someone
what?
would say that
If
same disingenuous
If
crap.
someone said that, that's fine. But there's nothing wrong, in my opinion, for Matt Rhule to go a little bit more in on those, especially knowing that he at least had a hand in what they were going to look like. I don't know. I thought he was playing it way dismissively. I don't know. That was just my opinion. All right, we're going to talk to Evan Blanket, his thoughts on the scrimmage, takeaways, everything they heard over the weekend as Nebraska gets into another important week of fall camp. It's Handley and Hansen here on AM 590 WOW.
Kick back and strap in for some lively conversation. Handley and Hansen.
At Harvest Auto Family, we believe buying a vehicle should be simple, transparent, and enjoyable. That's why we offer an extensive inventory with something for every driver. We're Nebraska's pre-owned car, truck, and electric vehicle experts, providing quality vehicles, fair pricing, and friendly service you can count on. It's no surprise drivers across the United States trust Harvest Auto Family. The next time you're headed to Lincoln for the game or taking the family on a road trip, stop by Harvest Auto Family at the Roundabout in Wahoo. Visit us online at driveharvest.com.
Evan, Canty, and Michelle are unsportsmanlike.
Nancy Lieberman joining us here on Unsportsmanlike.
I played ball with Witten to Tony Romo. Actually, he's the best basketball player that I have ever played with. We had an incident. I was his teammate. He threw a pass to me, and it went through my hands and it went out of bounds. He starts yelling, "Why did you catch the ball?" And you know me, I went, "Why didn't you catch the snap?"
Unsportsmanlike. Weekday mornings 5 to 9. AM 590. WOW.
Omaha heat can be brutal, and a broken AC makes it worse. If your system can't keep up, call Controlled Comfort for fast, professional cooling service. Their certified technicians diagnose issues quickly and restore comfort when you need it most. Stay cool, protect your system, and avoid costly breakdowns. Homes and businesses alike enjoy reliable indoor comfort through the hottest days of summer across Omaha all season long. Schedule your service today at ControlledComfort.com.
Control Comfort keeps it under control.
Live music 3 times a week just west of Elkhorn. The Doghouse Saloon in Waterloo. Wednesday nights, it's Chad Lee. Friday nights, live bands. Sunday afternoons, music on the big patio, cold beer in hand. Ride out, drive out, everybody's welcome at the Doghouse. And when the Huskers play, Dog fires up the smoker. So come hungry on game day. Take the Waterloo exit to the Doghouse Saloon. This week's bands are on their Facebook page.
Kick back and strap in for some lively conversation. Handley and Hansen on AM 590 WOW.
Handley and Hansen, AM 590 WOW. Happy you are with us on this fine Monday in the great city of Omaha, Nebraska. Appreciate it. And I want to make sure I set the record straight. I think I accidentally said Lee.
You said Lee Terry.
I said Lee Terry. That's a politician. My gosh, Jay Terry. He's the head equipment manager, and then Kyle Kotras.
Like, there's no way there's two, and then I just moved on.
Yeah, no, it was Jay Terry. And Kyle Kotras, who they put out that video about explaining how the whole thing came together with the uniform. And yeah, Kyle mentions that it was Adidas and other staffers, Jay Terry and Matt Rhule. I just thought he could. It's okay. I think people would have been all right with him just saying, "You're good. Yeah, they're cool. And if you don't like them, you won't like them regardless of what the coach says." So it just, I don't know. Too laser focused on that one, man. Just let yourself have a little bit of fun. I'm cool with that. I think everybody is. All right, so we're going to talk some Husker fall camp and some takeaways over the last couple of days. Dana Holgorsen, when we left, you spoke on Friday.
Yep.
And then Matt Rhule speaking on Saturday about more stuff other than his answer on the alternate uniforms. This is Evan Bland of the Omaha World Herald joins us. Evan, first off, I got to know, do you like the new uniforms?
Yeah, they're fine. You know, I guess I wouldn't say I'm a big uniform guy. Like, the best style is good football, right?
You and Grant need to get out and have some more fun. My gosh.
You know, I'm not saying I won't, like, break some of it down. But, like, I'll tell you what, the thing that impressed me about the blackout a year ago was the buy-in from the fans. Like I really thought when they set up that initiative that you might get, 60% black in the stadium. You might see patches of it. I mean, I think it was 98, 99% black a year ago. And that was incredibly impressive to me. That tells me more than anything I've seen on social media or whatever, that like fans will get up for those moments on occasion when they recognize there's a big moment and they want to set a different kind of atmosphere. So with that in mind, like bringing back the blackout and resetting that atmosphere for Washington, which is a huge game for Nebraska's season, I had no problem with. I like the script Husker on the helmet. I thought that was cool. And, if Rob Orich and the black shirts really take off this season or into the future, like that's a tradition I think you could see becoming a fairly annual thing. And so, Matt Rhule's, attitude toward it, I think he's in a kind of a tough spot because he's trying to walk the line. Like he's heard, you can bet he's heard from a whole bunch of fans saying, why do we mess with this iconic look that we have? And then he's also heard from players and recruits saying, dude, this is cool.
Right.
We need to be more modernistic too. So I think he's doing his best to walk that line. But there's no doubt, like the atmosphere that they set up on November 1st last year was super cool. And it's a high bar to set here for Halloween night against Washington this time.
Does it get ruined? Like if it's an 11 a.m. kick or if it's a 2:30 kick, does the blackout get ruined if it's, for example, Ohio State USC that gets the night slot on NBC?
I mean, I don't see him playing an 11 a.m. game with a West Coast team coming to town. Like I don't think that's likely. So even if it's a 2:30 or a 3, like that game's going to end right around sunset or a little bit after sunset. And obviously if it's a night game, Halloween night in the black, I mean, that's pretty exciting too. So I don't know that it would be an 11 a.m. game with West Coast teams. Even if it is, it's cool. Like it's just different than what you would expect Memorial Stadium to be. And I think just more than anything, it gets the fans on their toes. Like they kind of go in knowing, hey, this isn't a non-conference game in September. Like it's go time for us in the stands where we're gonna dress the part. We're going to be loud and affect the game in that way, and just kind of recognize like the pivot point that this is for the season. So yeah, I mean maybe slightly less if it's earlier, but I think it puts everybody on notice that this is a game you're going to need that extra help, and maybe that makes a difference in victory.
Evan Bland, our guest, Handley and Hansen on AM 590 WOW. Evan, between Dana's kind of satirical remark on Friday, or at least smart-ass remark on Friday about the running backs, and even Matt Rhule, before even fielding a question, said, I know I'll be asked about this, and then he gives an update on the running backs. How much of that do you think is this coaching staff is so completely confident in what they have in the backfield that's why they present that type of front, compared to just flat out tired of talking about and hearing some of the offseason criticism of why they didn't try to, strengthen that running back room?
Well, I think they have enough of an awareness to know that their assessment, however confident they are in it, isn't maybe like the default view of an outsider. Like just objectively, if you're looking at it from the outside, Isaiah Mosey, converted receiver, Mekhi Nelson has had one good quarter of play in a game in the Vegas Bowl. Quentin Ives they've tried to bring him along and it just hasn't quite popped for him yet. Jamal Rule's a freshman. Connor Booth has done some good stuff behind the scenes. Like you can just from the outside, looking at numbers, looking at age, experience, like that's a room that you would say probably needs somebody a little bit more proven. So I think they have enough self-awareness to know, yeah, that's probably all true, but this is what we've seen behind the scenes. This is who we know they are from a character perspective. This is how we project them to come along. They like Mekhi Nelson as a home run type threat. Isaiah Mosey's added a bunch of good weight in the offseason. He's up to 210, 215, more like a true running back now. Obviously, Rhule has come on, had a strong spring, and he's going to be in that mix too. So I just kind of think that's what it is. I think they know that their opinion maybe isn't the majority, certainly within the fan base. And during portal season last winter, you even heard kind of the acknowledgement that, we know, but these are some other areas that we're going to have to shore up and address. And they invested elsewhere and leaned on E.J. Barthel's track record of developing guys like Emmett Johnson, Dana Holgorsen, kind of the same thing. I mean, he was the one who really believed in Emmett a year and a half ago, and that helped him take off. So I think it's kind of all those things, plus the retooled offensive line where Nebraska says, we're going to roll with these guys. Matt Rhule made the comment in the spring that they don't have unlimited funds either. So maybe in a perfect world, you go out and you add somebody, but it's sort of like playing fantasy football a little bit. You can't take first rounders at every spot. You have to try to find out where you can, play Moneyball a little bit, so to speak. So I think they feel like they do have a varied skill set at that position group. And it's probably the one that once they have a good game or two, you might see a little bit of strutting from Coach Rhule and the staff saying, I told you, those are guys, this is what we've seen behind the scenes. I think they're excited, genuinely excited to put on display for the fan base what these guys have done behind the scenes now for 9 months.
Evan Bland from the Omaha World Herald. He's with us here on Handley and Hansen, AM 590 WOW. And Evan, we talked earlier in the show about Janaron Bonner. It's a guy that we kind of have to sort of just guess based off of reviews from the coaching staff, what he means to this team and what his value to this team is. What do you think his on-field impact looks like this season if he can stay healthy?
I think number one, he just makes that offense unpredictable. Like you put him out there and you don't know if he's going to be blocking like a fullback or if he's going to split out wide and run a route reliably and be a weapon in that way. And I think that was something that Dana Holgorsen and coaches have said they lost a little bit of last year was they have players who can do one of those things well, but when someone was out there, it was a little bit of a tell as to which way they were going to go. So I think you automatically get some diversity and some unpredictability on the offense. And then, for a guy whose nickname was Wood, and I guess it's not because he was laying down the wood in practice, it dates back to his Atlanta roots. But, I mean, he is one of one as a blocker at that position, too. Coaches have essentially said he's kind of his own guy in terms of his skill set, what he can do. He likes to do it. He embraces that contact. He's good at it. So that's just somebody that they missed, again, who can block like a fullback or catch passes like a pretty effective wide receiver. So by all accounts, he's ready to roll. I mean, he spoke with us in the media last week and it seemed comfortable with where he was from a health standpoint. The knees back up. It's been, almost 12 full months since that injury in Arrowhead Stadium. So certainly Dana Holgorsen's made his opinion of Janaron Bonner pretty clear, calling him a safety blanket to the offense. He's excited to have him out there. So I think he brings that element of toughness. And, when you talk about, grit and things like that, he's probably on that short list that Matt Rhule and that staff would say in terms of this is a guy that we want our program to be all about as far as embracing just the fundamentals of the game and the mentality that it's going to take to win in the Big Ten.
Evan Bland, our guest, Handley and Hansen here at AM 590 WOW. Evan, I did want to bring this up with just the BTN crew being out of practice and some of the takeaways. And I know that Isaiah Hunter had spoke about that wide receiving group. If you start to look at that group trending towards that season opener on September 5th, do you feel like they're getting discussed enough, too much, or not enough?
Well, I think it's probably about right, but it's a different kind of discussion than Nebraska's had in the past. I mean, the last few years, it's been about like one or two guys. It's been about Trey Palmer or Billy Kemp or, whomever the last few years. And there's such a depth to it this year. And sometimes you can say depth and it means lack of a star. In this case, it kind of feels like there could be 3 or 4 guys who could break out this year. I mean, Quasi Gilmer comes in, UCLA's best receiver last year, guy who can get behind the defense, probably in a way Nebraska hasn't had since Trey Palmer walked out the door. At least it looks like. Barney is back, third-year guy. They haven't had a ton of guys like him in terms of someone who's been around the program as a producer for multiple years, and he can be a slot or flex out. And Isaiah Hunter was really effective in the screen game last year, and I think he's probably going to expand the ways that he gets the ball. And really the biggest movement in the offseason was Quinn Clark. I mean, he was a guy in spring who teammates said, yeah, that's the guy who made the biggest moves. That's the guy, who had the one-handed touchdown catch in the spring game. That's the guy who Dana Holgorsen joked this week he's going to have to do more 10 personnel, right, 4 receivers just to get him on the field. And he's a bigger body than Nebraska's had at that position in quite a while. I mean, 6'5". They haven't had a lot of guys like that see the field a ton and contribute. So you've got varied skill sets there, guys who have been in the program for a while, and or in Gilmer's case, someone who's been in the Big Ten. So it's like, it doesn't feel like it's a leap to say any of those guys could take that next step. So we'll see if it turns out that way, if one or two hot hands emerge, or if they're able to spread it around a little bit more. But it does seem like if you're an opposing defense, like, you're going to have to pick your poison with these guys. If you lean on to one, somebody else probably has the speed or the savvy to get open. So that's going to be a challenge, and it'll be up to Nebraska to see how well they can leverage that skill set across that position group.
Evan, just before we go, I want to ask you quickly about reports surfacing that Tyke Hayes has been dismissed. We were just talking about the running back room. That was rumbling out there earlier this afternoon, but it looks like it's trending towards something that's maybe a little bit more official. Where do you land on Nebraska's running back room now that sort of the Mekhi Nelson patch that was added in June has departed?
Yeah, I haven't heard that confirmed just yet, but if that's the case, then part of that you would think maybe would be a product of how quickly it all came together in the first place. I mean, he had left Penn State, was headed to Iowa Western. That was a rushed process, I think, from all sides. And it came at a time, like you mentioned, when Mekhi Nelson's status was a little bit uncertain. That's no longer the case. He's full go for Nebraska. So whether that was on Nebraska's end or probably more likely on the end of Tyke Hayes, sounds like that's a parting of ways. And hopefully you'd hope it's just a deal where he's looking for opportunity elsewhere, and he kind of knows that's not going to happen this year. If he goes to Iowa Western or somewhere, maybe those carries are going to come a little bit more prominently, but probably a product of the portal era. I don't know that that's something that's going to affect Nebraska's offense much this year. Like you said, he was kind of a fallback option in the wake of some uncertainty, but you wish him well. And I think Nebraska still feels like it's in pretty good shape at that position.
It's Evan Bland of the Omaha World Herald. Evan, appreciate you coming on as always, my man. Have a great rest of the week.
Thanks, guys. See ya.
All right, when we come back, some reaction from that breaking news. Husker Online and other sources around, or I should say, other publications now reporting that same news that Grant just said, that Tyke Hayes, according to sources, has been dismissed from the Nebraska football program. We'll give some thoughts on that and more when we return. It's Handley and Hansen on AM 590 WOW.
Evan, Canty, and Michelle are unsportsmanlike.
It's an indictment on everybody that has fingerprints on the decision to draft J.J. McCarthy. Everybody that had a voice in that room that picked J.J. over Bo Nix is on the hot seat right now as far as I'm concerned. The only question is, how much of a hand did head coach Kevin O'Connell have in all of it?
Unsportsmanlike with Evan, Canty, and Michelle. Every weekday morning, AM 590 WOW.
Summer is so much more than just nice weather. It means taking out the boat or the golf cart or the Harley out of the garage. But when it's been a few months since those have started up, and they won't, that's where Action Batteries comes in. At Action Batteries, it all starts with us. Whether it's your car battery or your lawn and garden battery, we've been doing it all since 1982. So you can focus on having some fun this summer. Action Batteries Unlimited offers free installation of batteries in most vehicles. Find us at 79th and J Street or online at actionbatteries.com. Live music 3 times a week just west of Elkhorn. The Doghouse Saloon in Waterloo. Wednesday nights, it's Chad Lee. Friday nights, live bands. Sunday afternoons, music on the big patio, cold beer in hand. Ride out, drive out, everybody's welcome at the Doghouse. And when the Huskers play, Dog fires up the smoker. So come hungry on game day. Take the Waterloo exit to the Doghouse Saloon. This week's fans are on their Facebook page.
Omaha heat can be brutal, and a broken AC makes it worse. If your system can't keep up, call Controlled Comfort for fast, professional cooling service. Their certified technicians diagnose issues quickly and restore comfort when you need it most. Stay cool, protect your system, and avoid costly breakdowns. Homes and businesses alike enjoy reliable indoor comfort through the hottest days of summer across Omaha all season long. Schedule your service today at ControlledComfort.com.
Control Comfort keeps it under control.
Jeff Ballinger, Gorilla Car Wash, and your family has quite a history in Council Bluffs.
Jack, we've been blessed to be in business 100 years. My grandfather starting Ballinger Automotive in 1926, and Gorilla Car Wash, of course, starting 1991. So we have been blessed to be in business. We're grateful to the people in the metro area who have traded with us for so long. Yeah, we sure haven't taken it for granted.
That is quite a legacy. It's Gorilla Car Wash. Find those 8 locations, GorillaWash.com.
Have you been to Deer's Farm lately?
We may not be the biggest dealership around, but we strive to be the best. And Fremont agrees. We've been honored with 9 Best of Fremont awards, including Best Place to Work, New Car Dealer, Pre-Owned Car Dealer, Locally Owned Business, Tire Store, Auto Repair, Glass Repair, Body Shop, and Best Oil Change. See why so many drivers choose Deers Ford Lincoln. Visit us today at DeersFord.com, Fremont's best award-winning dealership.
Have you been to Deer's Farm lately?
Welcome back to Handley and Hansen on AM 590 WOW.
Well, mentioned before the break, we were talking with Evan Bland. It's Handley and Hansen, AM 590 WOW. But Tyke Hayes, reported by Sean Callahan, has officially been dismissed from the team. He joined the team in June at the running back position at Iowa Western via Penn State. And he has now moved on, which leaves Nebraska with, well, 4 options. Mekhi Nelson, Isaiah Bozee, Jamal Rhule, Quentin Ives. Of course, you got Connor Booth and Vincent Genatone, among others, there at the running back position for the Huskers. But Tyke Hayes no longer with the team. And it kind of goes back to what we were talking about with Michael Severe on Friday. This sort of strange infatuation that happened with Hayes off the bat, of a guy who joined the team in June, who had not been practicing with the team during the spring, who had not had a chance to familiarize himself with the system through majority of the summer OTAs that the players were running. The idea that he would join the team and immediately be the starting guy within the first month of the season was always sort of ludicrous to me. And then you get the first note of something like this happening when Dana Holgorsen said on Friday that he doesn't even know my name, which was at the time sort of tongue-in-cheek joking.
Kind of joking, but kind of not.
He'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Now that comment takes a little bit of a different meaning in that, look, maybe he actually was maybe he wasn't so much joking as much as we thought he was at that time.
Yeah. Well, I was bringing this up to Michael Severe and not knowing that we would be talking about something that almost played out the exact same way. For the one example I'm about to bring up, it just went a little bit longer, but we're trying to remember the Wisconsin running back who transferred to Nebraska in 2015, and I had to look it up later. It was Jordan Stevenson. And I think he was on a couple of kick return operations and whatnot, but ended up leaving the team in November later on. And he was a late enrollee, a late addition. I think he got there in either June or July of that season. And it was interesting, kind of like how this one was interesting, because this was a Wisconsin running back. And that was at that time in 2015, where everybody, even if it was a guy that was buried on the depth chart at 5 or 6 or 7, if he was listed somewhere on the roster and had an RB next to his name and he played for Wisconsin, you're like, this guy's going to be amazing. Just give him a chance.
Melvin Gordon.
Exactly.
Ball.
And now he wants to come over to Nebraska. Oh my God, yes. And it didn't work out. I felt like there was intrigue for 2 reasons with Tyke Hayes. And that was, this is a guy that, kind of like what we talked about, what I think both Dana Holgorsen and Matt Rhule take some exception to, is that in the transfer portal, a lot of investment into the offensive line, but you lose an Emmett Johnson, and I think people just naturally assumed that there wasn't enough experience in that running back room that you most likely had to go out in the transfer portal at least to bring in another body. They didn't do that during the normal transfer window. So then when Tyke Hayes, and it was announced that he was going to be joining the roster, then you're thinking, okay, there's that part of it, which is great, but also the fact that he comes from a very well-known Big Ten high-success program in Penn State who, oh, yeah, by the way, have put out some good running backs. So chances are if they're recruiting him, he must be okay. Look, and that's, as we know, that's flawed thinking.
There was the attraction to Iowa Western, thinking, too.
Yes, and then that kind of gave you even a little bit more of a – I just knocked my microphone over. That just gave you a little bit more of a – yeah, kind of a, oh, okay, cool. Now we're finally using that local connection with Scott Strohmeyer and Iowa Western. This is great. It's what everybody wants. So it did check some boxes. But this idea that somebody would come in that late and have this immediate impact, again, I go back to it's just flawed thinking. That's all it is.
Well, and now the questions for a lot of people, I'm sure, goes back to depth because you got Quentin Ives who had injury issues last year. You have Genatone, and I mean, that guy put up video game numbers in the track world. Mekhi Nelson, Connor Booth. Booth is somebody who's coming along but probably isn't ready yet.
Right.
Isaiah Mosey, Jamal Rhule. So it's really down to those three, right? Mosey, Rhule, and Nelson. And then Ives, I think a lot of people see him as a power back. We'll see. I think he's undergone some level of physical restructuring.
Yeah.
We'll see if that remains the case. But I think a lot of people, it's Rhule, Mosey, and then Nelson that you think of as those are the three guys. And because Emmett Johnson had so many carries, obviously Rhule didn't get a chance to, being a freshman, get many carries last year. But those other two, Mosey and Nelson, barely got any touches a year ago. And so now they're very much thrust into the spotlight. I'm again, the depth thing is not as big of a deal to me. But I understand people's fears around a group that is, to this point, in Division I Power 4 game action unproven.
It is. And I understand that Matt Rhule and Dana Holgorsen, they know their team far better than any of us. All right. They're seeing those guys work out every day. They coach us, they scheme, they do all of that from start to finish. And if they feel that what they have in that room gives them the best opportunity, then who the hell am I to second guess that? But that doesn't mean that's an area that I'm going to go in with blind faith and say, well, if these guys are pretty confident and if they're saying the right things when it comes to, well, you guys keep thinking we should have got this guy or this guy. Like we've been telling you from day one, we love this group. That's where I think there's that tone either from Matt Rhule or even Dana Holgorsen that I get why you get a little salty on that, but you also got to understand what the fans are thinking. For those numbers alone, and I've mentioned it a few times, of what is it? It's like I think a combined 370 yards amongst the three running backs that are coming back that actually had some carries last year and 3 touchdowns. Like that's what you're returning.
Yeah.
So forgive me for not fully buying into that. And here I'm the same guy who is talking about what Holgorsen and Rhule are saying about Janiron Bonner, and I'm actually buying into that. I'm
fully,
I'm buying into that one. But we've seen the value of a good running back at this school. We've seen the value. We saw it last year with Emmett Johnson, and seeing a guy get that momentum, start to get going, and all of a sudden by the third and fourth quarter, he is ripping some big runs. It's like, this is awesome. Okay. And Nebraska's had so many of those in the last 3 decades. But we've also seen what it looks like when they don't have that guy.
It's just, you just can't be totally dependent on him.
Right.
Which wasn't going to be the case. That's the thing. Like, that's what I keep coming back to. Like, things are going to be okay.
To me, the Tyke Hayes
Not
thing
that you were depending on Tyke Hayes,
yeah,
but
that's a non-story to me.
Nebraska can't, if Nebraska finds itself in a position this year where it's entirely depending on one of those 3 guys I mentioned, Mekhi Nelson, Isaiah Mosey, Jamal Rhule, to win them football games, it's going to be a hard year. Because guess what?
Unless
Emmett Johnson was incredibly talented, but the last month of the season, they were completely depending on him to do everything for that offense. And do you know how things turned out?
Yeah, you go
not good enough.
Well, and think about it. The alternate to that is They're relying on a guy because
and that's
somebody has emerged and has become sort of a game breaker. But again, I don't know if that's the reality.
That's not me being like fired up and mad at Matt Rhule or any of the program. It's just like the situation is, look, like no matter who was playing running back for them this year, if they were as dependent on that aspect of the game, to the degree that they were a year ago, it didn't matter who's doing it.
Right.
They're not going to win enough football games. They got to be more well balanced as an offense compared to a year ago. And I think that's clouding people's perception of the running back room, that you're expecting whoever it is to well, the only way it's going to work is if they're producing at the level of Emmett Johnson. Well, no, they have to be multifaceted.
Yeah. And that someone has to be developed, and I don't know if that person's developed to do that just yet.
Oh, yeah.
And if you're wondering why we're talking about this again, if you're just joining us, Tyke Hayes being reported by a couple outlets, especially Husker Online and Sean Callahan, that Tyke Hayes has been dismissed from the team. We'll get back to one of the I love when anchors just cannot keep it together, especially when it has to do with very immature humor. We'll tell you all about that on the other side of the break. It's Handley and Hansen, AM 590 WOW.
Think you know your stuff? You're invited to pit your knowledge against Handley or Hansen in Generational Beef Trivia. Sponsored by the Pit Barbecue Lounge. Every Friday at 4 p.m. If you're a boomer, you get to pick Gen X or Gen Z questions, while the boys will have to answer boomer questions. If you outsmart them, you'll win a $25 gift card to the Pit Barbecue Lounge, just off Highway 370 and 72nd. Generational Beef Trivia with Handley and Hansen. Fridays at 4 p.m. Brought to you by the Pit Barbecue Lounge.
I'm Dave Nabity, and for 40 years, I've helped family business owners plan how to hand what they built to the next generation. And here's what I've learned. Most family business succession plans don't fail because of the tax code. They fail because of the family. The child is brought in too soon, the one placed in a position they can't succeed in, the key executive who quietly leaves because nobody respected him through the transition, and the estate plan is drafted for a business that was a fraction of what it's worth today. I've watched families lose the business and siblings stop speaking. I've watched grandchildren grow up in homes torn apart by the decisions that could have been prevented. So I've written a free guide called The 10 Mistakes Parents Make When Selling Their Business to Their Kids. It's drawn from 4 decades of sitting across from families just like yours. If you own a family business and you're thinking about handing it to your kids someday, this guide could save your family and your company. Get it free at Nabity.com. That's Nabity.com. I'm Dave Nabity, and let's do this the right way.
Wing Haven and Millard is doing wings the right way. Easy on the wallet, but hard on battling your appetite. Every sauce is scratch made, and they keep getting better. Want to try something new? Haven Umami Bomb Rub might be right for you. Something hot? Try the legendary Haven Sauce of Hell. Looking for something a little more casual? Get them with garlic parm or lemon pepper. And hey, if you're looking to save even more, mention this ad or AM 590 for 10% off. Open every day till 11 at 138th and P. Wing Haven. Run for wings.
Omaha couples have discovered a unique experience awaiting them at Creative Hair Design. Your session starts with an aromatherapy steam and shower, followed by a full body massage, leaving you both relaxed and rejuvenated. Or experience our brand new Himalayan salt room, the first of its kind in Omaha. Come see what's possible at Creative Hair Design Salon and Spa, 120th and Pacific.
Round the Bend Steakhouse in Ashland, Nebraska has been putting meat in your mouth since 1995. Round the Bend proudly supports local family farms by exclusively partnering with certified Angus beef. Our steaks are hand-cut in-house daily and wet-aged 40 days for flavor and tenderness that straight slaps, bro. Translation, it's stupid good. We're smack dab between Lincoln and Omaha, just off I-80 exit 426. Round the Bend Steakhouse, home of the Testicle Festival and beef done right.
Welcome back to Handley and Hansen on AM 590 WOW.
Hey, folks, don't forget, coming up on Friday, Generational Beef Trivia. It's sponsored by the Pit Barbecue Lounge. We'll continue at 4 o'clock. You'll test your knowledge across the generations. You get home court advantage. I mean, come on. A chance to win a $25 gift card to the Pit Barbecue Lounge, which we have hooked.
Wait, how do you get
home
court advantage?
Well, you get a home court advantage because you just call in. You say, well, look, I'm from Gen Z. Gen Z says, okay, now you pick an opponent on our trivia panel from every generation, and you say, I want to take on Gen X Nick because there's no way he can answer any of my Gen Z trivia questions.
I thought you meant home court advantage because
you get most of the questions right, you get a gift card.
If you're on site like we were last week, we're not.
It could be that too.
Just going to let you know we're not on site.
We will not be on site this week.
At least as of now.
Unless you make
if somebody wants us to go somewhere
really
on Friday,
crazy and comes and visit us at the studio.
Oh, that's right. We've got
It'd be really insane.
Well, we've got kind of a big deal going on this. No, that's next Friday. Is it?
No, it's this Friday.
It is this Friday. Jesus. Wow. I need to get.
Maybe that's what we do.
I need to get my.
Actually,
stuff
that's
together.
a great idea. Never mind.
We'll
I'll
talk
book that for later.
We'll talk about that off the air. All right. So before we get into the 5 o'clock hour, so this co-anchor on Fox 2 News, Good Day Detroit, just could not keep it together when talking about eating a certain animal, or at least was brought up to that person of eating a certain animal. And this does go back to the sort of the teenage humor, which I know even in my late 40s, I still find one of those types of jokes rather comical. But when you see people who are buttoned up on the anchor desk, just absolutely losing it, who doesn't like that? Give this one a listen.
That is, if you can provide yourself with food, and again, they're ice fishing because everything is frozen, and you're looking for fat in the beaver.
Yeah,
the beaver is the beaver is the most sought after.
It is.
Ryan, do you think you could eat beaver? It's fat and then it's meat.
It made them all sick, though. They all got sick after it.
Well, you can't eat diseased animals.
I just love she stumbles into it. She's trying to save it.
What about a moose?
Yeah.
She knows exactly where she took that. Okay. She knows exactly where she took that.
Did.
She goes,
what
about a moose?
I love how she kept going into it because she knew that, and the guy that is just losing, his name is Ryan Ermani, and he's the third man on the desk. And he can't keep it together. And what is the best part, kind of what you alluded to there, is that she knows she's got him. So she just subtly keeps bringing it up and talking about how it's fat and all that. I mean, it just clearly he was not going to be able to pull it back together. That was bravo to her more than anything. That was great.
Oof.
Yes.
Oof.
Hey, look, I don't know if I'd ever want to eat beaver, but.
Well, yeah. I mean,
what's the wildest thing?
Ways you could take.
What's the wildest thing you would eat?
There
Nick?
is. What's that?
What's the wildest thing you would eat if you were out in the wilderness?
Besides beaver?
Besides beaver.
Let's see. I've heard. Well, isn't it in Christmas Vacation? Eddie has to lay off squirrel because he read that they're high in cholesterol. So I guess I'd lay off the squirrel. I mean, there was a time that I thought the idea of eating. I've had an ostrich burger before.
Okay,
how's that? Okay,
it was normal. It was very lean.
I used to like bison burger.
Yes, bison burger.
But the thing is, you put no, that's not that out. That's not that out there. But you put bison burger in the fridge for a day. It leftover. It is horrible.
I'm sure
that was what I remember. Like, it does not, like, hamburger can keep. But if it's bison burger, it's like you leave that in the fridge for a day and it's not good.
Shane's a big fan of snapping turtle, 7 types of meat, and tastes like chicken. I think the wildest thing that I've ever had was at the Oklahoma State Fair. They would there would be these vendors there, and they would test out their grills. And the way they would test out their grills, they would give you grilled grasshoppers. So they would put grasshoppers on a kebab. And then they would give you grilled grasshoppers. And that was always the big thing as a little kid, is your parents wanted to creep you out. They make you try a grilled grasshopper. So that's the wildest thing.
Was it good?
Insects I would never eat.
It wasn't bad. Throw a little salt and pepper on it, and it's got a little pop to it.
Does it taste like a green bean?
I wouldn't say it tastes like a green bean.
It looks like a green bean.
How would I describe the taste? The taste is like, have you ever eaten a warm beef stick? But like with the type with like jalapeno and cheese in the middle.
Yeah.
It pops like
those.
that.
Okay.
So when you crunch down on it, it has the same pop and the same crunch. It's just not cheese and jalapenos. It's the innards of a grasshopper.
Oh, it's the guts.
People eat roaches sometimes, don't they? Like I could never do candied insects or just insects at all. I mean, I have to play things a little bit closer just because of I'm just sort of disadvantaged in some ways. Like I'm going to be naturally pretty.
Do you think
pretty middle of the road?
Do you think you would have an insect allergy, or
I don't think we tested for it.
Do you know if you would react positively or negatively to eating beaver?
Trust me, that is definitely one thing I've thought about. Like, okay, here's one example, not about food. I've never, and people probably wouldn't be surprised by this either, but I've had zero weed related product ever in my life.
Wait, what?
Because I'm like, because what happens if I actually end up having like some sort of reaction I'm having a reaction?
Related?
Weed, yeah.
Like
Mary
cannabis?
Jane.
Like the hippie lettuce?
Yeah.
You're talking about the hippie lettuce? Okay.
I've never stepped into that world because it's like, okay, if I'm having an allergic reaction to that and there's basically no way to tell. I'm like, I'm not going to.
What about beaver nuggets? Can I tuck you into beaver nuggets?
Well, I mean, you can't even tell. I mean, at that point, it's all ground up. I mean, it's all ground up, and at that point, it might as well be chicken nuggets.
We're missing why this was funny.
Just you're lacking the wow factor here, Grant.
Hey, I'm just gonna play it, straight laced.
He's not even turning red over there. That's good. That's great. Oh boy, eating beaver, not for everyone.
No,
all right,
definitely not for everybody.
We're gonna have our cold hard truth kicking off the 5 o'clock hour. Also coming up in the 5 o'clock hour, we will be talking to some young Huskers. Yes, some references to some of those younger players that could be making an impact early on. We'll get into that. Also, some NFL preseasons, odds and ends. 5 o'clock hours coming up. Don't go anywhere. It's Handley and Hansen, AM 590 WOW.
The legend has returned. Sports Talk Huskers. AM 590 WOW. Omaha. This is SportsCenter.
I'm Nick DeLuca. The Bucks family is saying goodbye to the Lakers, selling their remaining 17.8% ownership stake to new majority owners Josh Kushner and Bob Iger. After completion, Jeannie Buss will no longer be the team's governor, had been in the role since taking over for her late father Jerry in 2013. Sale still in need of approval from the league's board of governors. The NBA reportedly finding no evidence of Clippers owner Steve Ballmer funneling money to Kawhi Leonard through sponsors to circumvent the salary cap. League investigation that is ongoing, focused on the team introducing Leonard to sponsors and if that constitutes a violation of salary cap rules. In baseball, the Yankees are activating lefty Carlos Rodon from the IL to start tomorrow night against the Orioles. The team had been planning for him to make another rehab start. Has been on the IL since July 3rd with elbow inflammation, has a 3.30 ERA in 9 starts this year. College football preseason rankings are in. Ohio State and Oregon 1-2 in the AP top 25.
If you run a small business, you've got to try Gusto. Get unlimited payroll runs and get your payroll taxes filed automatically. Offer health insurance, 401k, and more. Get started for free at gusto.com.
How are the Omaha Supernovas redefining professional volleyball? Because no one supports the game like Novas Nation. General Manager John Cook has assembled a roster featuring former Husker Merritt Beeson and stars from around the volleyball world, all with one goal: bring another championship to Omaha. Be there for all 13 home matches at CHI Health Center this January and experience the loudest, most electric atmosphere in professional volleyball. Secure your season tickets today at supernovas.com and join the world's #1 volleyball fan base.
Make your business travel in style with custom vehicle wraps from Omaha Auto Wraps. Your car, truck, or SUV will become a moving advertisement, seen by hundreds of people daily. Visit Omaha Auto Wraps right now at omahaAutoWraps.com for a free design consultation. Put a wrap on your vehicle and grab attention. Visit them at 14609 Prairie Corner Road in Omaha, 1 block from the Amazon warehouse on Highway 370, and always online at omahaAutoWraps.com.
Rich Eisen.
Oh, the Red Sox actually lost 2 in a row.
Actually lost the series, yeah.
You know why? We have the answer in our house. Coop got out of camp.
Yeah, go away, Coop. Go back to camp.
He went into camp the night they started their 4-game sweep of the Yankees.
Really? That was his
That's
first
when
day?
he went into camp. And so he comes out of camp. They lost 2 in a row.
You're done, Brock.
I'm like, welcome home, Coop. This is great.
Rich Eisen, every weekday, 11 to 2 on AM 590 WOW. Time now for the Injury Report, brought to you by Abood Law Firm. When injuries happen, go to aboodlawfirm.com.
This week in notable injuries on the baseball front, Cincinnati Reds pitcher Hunter Green is undergoing a second Tommy John surgery this month. He'll be out for the remainder of the season as well as the entire 2027 season. San Francisco Giants third baseman Matt Chapman is undergoing season-ending abdominal surgery. He'll hope to return in 2027. And that is your injury report, brought to you by Abood Law Firm.
Having trouble sleeping? Stop by 42 Degrees and discover why so many people turn to 42 Degrees for solutions that help them rest, relax, and wake up feeling refreshed. Visit the brand new location at 180th and Q, or stop by any of the 10 convenient 42 Degrees locations serving Omaha and Lincoln. Grand opening savings are happening now, making it the perfect time to stop in. Learn more at 42degrees.com. That's 42degrees.com. 42 Degrees. Still by your mom's house.
I never needed an attorney until this happened. Call Abood Law Firm. You want a pro in your corner. Get 40 years of experience. Their slogan, we're here to help. You never know when you'll need an attorney, but if that day comes, Abood Law Firm will consult with you for free, and you don't pay if they don't win. Check out aboodlawfirm.com. When accidents happen, when injuries happen, aboodlawfirm.com.
Welcome to the Hoppy Hour on Handley and Hansen. Brought to you by Monolithic Brewing. Carved from a single shared vision. Delivering high quality, well-crafted beers. Now, let's crack this hour wide open.
Oh, yeah. Fast and the Furious Tokyo Drift. That's what this song reminds me of. I know you guys have seen it. Don't act like you haven't.
I've never seen a Fast and Furious movie, and I'm
Ever?
looking to
What?
keep it that way.
You mean you haven't seen the 65 of them that exist?
It's essentially
God.
vomit.
What?
I know. This is kind of shocking to me as well.
No. Fast and Furious sucks.
Wow.
Okay. All right. Well, this seems like a hot take. Maybe a cold, hard truth coming up here, which is
No.
brought to you by OSS.
But it is true.
This is Handley and Hansen, by the way, after that Eating Beaver segment. I know we're getting back on track here, but it is Handley and Hansen, AM 590 WOW. It is our Hoppy Hour, brought to you by Monolithic Brewing out on 120th and Fort. Don't forget to stop in, try their West Coast IPA, the Baja Gold, but also,
Baja.
as I've been telling you, too, the Jorts Session Hazy IPA is very, very good. This Friday, by the way, they've got the big Monolithic Hatch Chili Fest going on. They got tons of New Mexico Hatch chilies that they are roasted up. They'll be serving a variety of scratch-made Hatch chili food specials featuring Hatch salsa, Hatch green pork chili, plus roasted chilies by the pound. And you could have a special release Hatch chili chupacabra. That is very, very good. I've had it many times. It's good stuff. So Monolithic Brewing, bringing you the Hoppy Hours they do every day right here on Handley and Hansen. It's time to get to some truths. You guys all got your truths?
They're cold and they're hard. Let's rock.
Let's talk about that one segment. Okay.
Hit the music. Start us off, Nick. You haven't started us off yet.
I haven't. I have not led off, and I'm going to lead off with a topic that I know you guys all love, and it has to do with the alternate uniform thing. But this is more of a college football tradition argument. Every time Nebraska puts out an alternate uniform, either somebody loses their mind and they usually throw out the word tradition. Well, the cold hard truth of this is when it comes to modern college football experiences, and when we look at the amount of traditions from the sport to individual programs, the tradition that just no longer exists, do we really still need to get up in arms about one Saturday or Friday that players in a team decide to wear an alternate uniform? Look, rivalries have been changed or eliminated. Conferences have been blown up. We know that. Regional identities essentially do not exist. Players move around like free agents.
Mm-hmm.
Schools are chasing all of that television money. Yet we're going to draw a line at the black helmet with the script Huskers. Come on, man. And you know what the better part of this truth is? I noticed not nearly as much backlash when it comes to the alternate uniform. In a time 10 years ago where that all-black uniform and getting away from the traditional end would have had people running for the hills to just blow up their radio stations, chat lines, or phone lines to talk about how this is egregious, I have noticed it's not nearly as temperate because people understand there are bigger things at hand in college football, and an alternate uniform has now moved its way down the list. So even here in Nebraska, where we look at our traditional uniforms as sacred, I think fans have, for the most part, finally come around on accepting that there's just no such thing as sacred traditions, and the uniforms are one of them. That's my cold hard truth.
How about that? All right, I guess I'm hitting second this week.
Go ahead.
Also, shout out SOS. SOS.
SOS to the rescue.
SOS to the rescue.
That's right.
Sponsoring this fine segment, which is going in a very strange order today. That's
we
fine.
Just rolled right into it. I know.
Okay. Here's this one pains me. I've kind of like flopped back and forth on what I wanted to do with this, but look, the Cowboys over under this year is 9.5. They made headlines yesterday adding Von Miller to this team.
Yeah.
This is a Cowboys team that will win more than 10 games this year, and more than likely, I think, is the best bet to win the NFC East. Which is a Giants fan sucks. Because this means the Giants probably aren't making the playoffs. I think the Giants could improve greatly and not make the playoffs because the NFC East is going to be really good. I mean, you're going to see the Eagles definitely make the playoffs this year. The Cowboys will certainly make the playoffs. I think it's the best team of the division. This is an offense that was incredibly dynamic last year. You're going to have George Pickens playing on a franchise tag, a chance to even earn more money this upcoming offseason, and prove that his season in Dallas the year before was no fluke.
Mm-hmm.
You got a running back in Javonte Williams coming off a career-high season in rushing yards, a guy who has a fantastic offensive line in front of him. The Cowboys, again, you remember that great offensive line that Dak Prescott had at the beginning of his career in Dallas that was paving the way for Zeke Elliott?
I do.
It's fallen apart, and they've rebuilt it again. They've done an excellent job there. The problem is the secondary. That's where Caleb Downs comes in, a guy who's going to probably be an all-pro within the next 3 years. He's going to have to solve a lot of problems back there. That's their biggest issue. I mean, this is a team that allowed over 30 points per game last year. But you have great presence up front, Malachi. There's a lot. There's a lot to like defensively between Williams, who they've now extended. And then, again, Von Miller, you don't see him as a guy that is going to be out there on every down rushing. Certainly not. But he's got enough left in the tank to help this team get after the quarterback. 9 sacks last year with the Commanders, and he doesn't really have to carry anything. The thing is, with this defense, the way the offense sets up and the way Dak Prescott played a year ago, the defense doesn't have to even be great. If the defense was average, instead of going 7-9 last year, 7-9-1, they would have won 10 games. And I think they'll do it this year. So over 9.5 wins for the Cowboys. That's the cold, hard truth. They're going to be better in the secondary. They can't get worse defensively. Matt Eberflus causes a lot of problems, as Bears fans are aware. They're going to take some big steps forward this year, and I think they win the NFC East.
Ooh. Okay. What say you, Justice?
That was really well thought out, Grant. Here's a cold, hard truth, and I'm going to somewhat localize this, and then I'm going to somewhat broadband it. My cold, hard truth, I'm going to talk to you at home. I'm going to talk to Nick. I'm going to talk to Grant. Nick, cover your ears. The 90s are over. The 90s are over. There is no...
Why am I covering my ears?
There is no decade of dominance in college football anymore.
Oh, there is no 2030s.
There is no Alabama 2010s run where you win a bunch of national championships. There is no Nebraska having the greatest season in history in 1995 and then carrying that over to the very next year. With the fluctuation of college football, with the variance in NIL disparity in rosters, with the money that's involved with the sport nowadays, if you don't have $30 or $40 million to spend on a single season's roster, you are not competing for a national championship. So you have your thoughts of a Cinderella run to the college football playoff. That's great. If you want to sniff a national title, you got to fork up the big bucks. A recent article released showed that there were 11 or more schools that were forking out budgets of $40 million. That is an incredible chunk of change. Nebraska doesn't have Warren Buffett to reach into the pocket and go back and get the money. They don't have the money that in Indiana does, that in Oregon has at the ready. The Ohio States have at the ready. Just in the Big Ten, they don't have Larry Ellison, CEO of Oracle, that's pumped money into $10 million just for a freshman quarterback in Bryce Underwood like Michigan does. Unless you've got money, there is no decade of dominance. There is no real run. We will soon consider the benchmark for a great decade as 3 national championships in a single decade. The cold, hard truth, there is no more run. There is no more 7 or 8 national championships in a row. There is no more incredible rollover years because your depth gets eaten up by teams with good payrolls. And if you don't have an elite one, you can't win a national championship. And that's the cold, hard truth.
I want you, and I'm going to throw a very eerie, cold, hard truth, what you just said, because I don't disagree with what you laid out, but there was one part of
Halloween's not until
Justice's
October 30th.
cold, hard truth where he mentioned the Nebraskas don't have the monies of the Indianas. Let that sit for a moment. We're talking about football. We're not talking about college basketball here. We're talking about college football, where you mentioned when it comes to the payrolls that you're using to acquire talent, and it makes sense coming off of a college football playoff appearance in year number 1 on your head coach, and then a subsequent national championship in year number 2, that you don't have that type of payroll, that Nebraska and Indiana are different when it comes to that. Indiana's on the upside of that.
A lot of that is measuring different things that we did before. Like, how much did we talk about alumni base size even 5 years ago? I mean, that was not something that was in people's consideration the way it is now. That's part of why Indiana is what it is. It's different things that we never thought about before as key advantages. A couple of amendments.
Also, real quickly, that is our cold, hard truth.
Yes,
and we want to give a big thank you to SOS Heating and Cooling, bringing you the cold, hard truth every Monday. 3rd-generation family-owned, and they give you better pricing and better warranties than anyone else. Their technicians don't make commissions, so they treat you like family, and they do not try to upsell you. That is SOS Heating and Cooling, bringing you the cold, hard truth.
Malachi Lawrence. That's who I almost said Malachi Fields, Giants wide receiver,
Coleman?
rookie. Malachi Lawrence.
Oh, are you going back to an omission?
He's had I omitted him from the discussion regarding the Cowboys because I was about to say Malachi Fields and I said Malachi Lawrence. Also, Jayshon Barnum is with them too. You'll remember he was a game wrecker for Michigan against Nebraska this past year. I mean, they've got some really, really talented bodies up in that front 7. So
you're going back to your cold, hard truth.
Just saying,
okay,
they'll win over 10.
Okay. Mark it down. Joel says, don't let your cold, hard truth get in the way of my pearl clutching when it came to the alternate uniforms. Because
I can't stand it. It's such a stupid thing to get caught up in.
I think there is something to be said, and to Joel's, I think, tongue-in-cheek point there. I don't want to speak on behalf of Joel. By the way, these cough drops are fantastic.
You've been chowing
down. They're tasty. I feel like there is an obligation by, I think it's now very much the minority of fans that follow Nebraska, that they feel it is their God-given duty to get up in arms about this stuff. That even a slight little tweak to the uniform, that anything that strays from that top to bottom traditional look. I remember one year that they decided to go with like white socks, all white socks, and pull them up.
Pissed a bunch of people off.
Like little things like that.
Just don't understand it.
And that was kind of the whole point of just bringing that up in the cold hard truth, is that I think the people that just get outraged by this are few and far between, because this is the one thing, even in a place like Nebraska, where the traditional look, and there's at least a couple things you can hang on to, like the sellout streak. Those traditions, I think people have evolved to. Like I was bringing up with the conferences. You know, there's the Big 8, Big 12 crowd that love that. But I think you've just evolved to it to where you're now like, okay, uniforms, how high on the list of getting pissed off is that?
Very low.
And it should be.
And my line is essentially, it's like the NBA uniforms where they're not even wearing their team's colors. That's my line. Like, if Nebraska brought out an alternate uniform where they were wearing yellow and green.
Oh,
And they were doing a Runza alternate uniform or something. That's where I would draw the line.
Maybe a patch. That'd be about it.
No.
A patch.
Yeah, people hate that enough.
I know. There's the whole thought about a patch. What will be the Nebraska patch if and when they end up doing that? All right, so Matt Rhule speaking on Saturday about a couple of younger players that are getting some good first impressions during fall camp. We will talk about those and their prospects of impacting this team. When we come back, it's Handley and Hansen on AM 590 WOW.
You can tell a lot about a brewery by the people behind the bar. At Monolithic Brewing, they're always chasing the perfect pint, combining creativity, collaboration, and craftsmanship in everything they brew. It's the kind of neighborhood place where you'll find familiar faces and something new to discover with every visit. Pair your favorite beer with one of their unique burgers, wraps, or shareable appetizers. Then stick around for special beer releases, live events, and a tap room that's as welcoming as the beer is memorable. Monolithic Brewing, small batch beer, monumental flavor.
The Golix.
If Aaron Donald does come back, do you believe this has the potential to be the best defense in the NFL this year?
Oh, without question. You look at the depth on that D line. Add Myles Garrett to that. Add the possibility of Aaron Donald to that, which I think we both think he is going to come back. And we saw last year's Super Bowl team, Seattle, basically win with a really, really, really strong defense.
9 to 11, weekday mornings on AM 590 WOW.
You like a little competition? The Marksman Indoor Range has leagues and bowling pin shoots all year long, so you can shoot for score against the best in the area. New to it, certified instructors teach everything from the fundamentals to concealed carry, with safety first on every lane. 11 lanes, over 100 rentals to try. Families welcome. The Marksman, just west of Elkhorn in Waterloo. Open 7 days. Online at themarksmanindoorrange.com.
You know, as guys, we're usually the last ones to take care of ourselves. We're busy with work, family, and everything else that life throws at us. But feeling tired, struggling with weight, or not feeling like yourself shouldn't be something you accept. That's why I wanted to tell you about the Men's Health Clinic. They provide personalized men's health solutions, including testosterone optimization, GLP-1 weight loss plans, and peptides for overall wellness. Visit themenshealthclinic.com and schedule your free consultation today. The Men's Health Clinic, helping men feel their best again.
Having trouble sleeping? Stop by 42 Degrees and discover why so many people turn to 42 Degrees for solutions that help them rest, relax, and wake up feeling refreshed. Visit the brand new location at 180th and Q, or stop by any of the 10 convenient 42 Degrees locations serving Omaha and Lincoln. Grand opening savings are happening now, making it the perfect time to stop in. Learn more at 42degrees.com. That's 42degrees.com. 42 Degrees. Still by your mom's house.
Looking for Omaha's best tacos, wings, and tequila? Look no further than the Corner Kick Cantina, where tacos and tequila reign supreme. Our unique Midwest Mex experience blends the bold flavors of Mexican cuisine with the warmth of Midwest hospitality. Voted best of Omaha for tacos, it's the perfect spot to enjoy delicious food and catch the game. Whether you're gathering with friends, colleagues, or family, the Corner Kick Cantina has it all. 3 Omaha locations. Online at thecornerkickcantina.com.
Nebraska weather is unpredictable, but your comfort shouldn't be. When you need reliable heating and cooling, trust John Henry's for professional installation of high-efficiency Lennox systems. Lennox delivers consistent temperatures, quieter operation, and real energy savings all year long. Make the easy call to John Henry's and schedule your free in-home estimate today.
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing, Heating and Air,
and Electrical.
Welcome back to Handley and Hansen. Give us a call and share your thoughts. 531-895-0590.
Back with you on a Monday. It's Handley and Hansen, AM 590 WOW. Grant Hansen, Nick Handley, Justice Rhody, our producer. 531-895-0590. Tyke Hayes is out.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Tyke Hayes is joining us.
No, that would be crazy. Dismissed from the football team, the Nebraska football team, earlier today. We shared our thoughts on that earlier. If you want to chime in, again, the number 531-895-0590. Last couple of tidbits from Matt Rhule's Saturday press conference include a couple of comments from him on 2 younger Huskers. And Nick, I want to ask you, after we hear Rhule's comments on both, Your thoughts on which one maybe has the quicker path to impact in 2026. The first begins with a corner or a defensive back, a 5-star by the name of Odom.
Yeah, Danny lines up and expects to make a play on the ball. If the ball's coming at him, like he hasn't played any college football yet, so he needs reps. He's taking those reps. He likes football. He's smart, but he's competitive. And anytime you play a freshman in that position, they have to be willing to help them through some things. But mentally, he's a lion. He attacks, and the ball's in the air. He tries to go get it, and he's got great length, great hands, long arms, and those guys battling over there for that second and third and fourth cornerback spots. It's a great battle. Jeremiah's had a great camp. He's had a great camp. Marsh had a great camp. Victor Evans has had a great camp. Larry Tarver's had a great camp. Bryson, Amari. If I'm forgetting someone, it's not on purpose. It's just because I'm trying to think of all the names, but that's been one of our, I think, probably our stronger positions in camp has been the cornerback play. I think Dana said that to you guys yesterday. I know Dana says whatever comes into his brain, so I make sure to watch him before I go to know what landmines I might get. And winning those 50-50 balls outside, the corners have played them really well, and Danny's no exception.
So it's interesting because you went back and touched on this earlier at the top of the show. Like, he kind of caveats this, and you'll hear it with Tyson Terry too in a second, but he makes sure to mention literally everybody that's fighting for that second spot.
Yeah.
But you get that question about Danny Odom. He gives you what his thoughts are on him, right? Like, certainly not lacking confidence. Like, when you hear the head coach say he's like a lion out there, you got to appreciate that, a young guy. And you need that level of confidence at that position. Hopefully you have the short memory to go with it. I don't know if he beats out Jeremiah Charles or Victor Evans for this job at the outset, but to me, the logjam is a little bit thicker at defensive lineman where Tyson Terry is at than it is for Odom. For me, if I'm picking between these two guys, and we'll hear from about Terry in a second, I think it's Odom that will perhaps provide the first impact of the two. Not to say that those two younger guys on the defensive side of the ball don't find a way onto the field, both at some point in 2026.
Danny Odom, I think it's interesting because there has usually been a freshman or two that has cracked the lineup. Remember, we were just talking not that long ago about Dawson Merritt, and he got his first start against Michigan State in Lincoln, and that was relatively still early in the season, and then he battled some injuries. So there's always been, under Matt Rhule, at least one, if not two, true freshman defensive players that maybe they're not starting, but they're getting some pretty good reps. I mean, Vincent Shavers was one of those guys as well. So, I mean, you think about, could Danny Odom be that dude? Well, you think about the position that he's battling for. And we're hearing great things about Jeremiah Charles. Hearing really good things about a guy, though, that is right now, after coming off the injury like Charles did, we don't necessarily know how that's going to look.
Yep.
But kind of like Janiron Bonner, it seems like if you're talking about anybody on the defensive side of the ball that has really caught the attention of the coaches, Jeremiah Charles has really been that dude. But the fact that you have a freshman that's pushing him, yeah, I would agree. I think for Odom, I don't know I would say maybe his path is a little bit stronger to potentially start a game than it would be for Tyson Terry, but definitely for Danny Odom to be in a game and have it, I would agree, to have an opportunity to impact a game as opposed to Tyson Terry, where I think Tyson Terry is going to be in the mix. I just don't know if those live reps are going to be the same amount as what Danny Odom could very well get.
Well, let's hear about a guy in Tyson Terry who's also recovering from an injury. Here's Rhule's comments on the former Omaha North Viking.
Yeah, that Tyson's in the mix to be on the bus, to be in the hotel, and then to be in the game. He's really powerful man with great balance, and he kind of knows. Part of that's taking that to pass rush and figuring out what's the best way for you to utilize your strengths and weaknesses. Justice Whittington does a great job, telling guys like to, be you, over there, like be you, figure out who you are and do that. And he has unique balance and power. Just the fact that he had that injury in high school his senior year and continued to wrestle, I think speaks to his mental toughness, but he's got elite physical toughness and balance as well.
See, for me, I think Tyson Terry's one of those guys as we get into October and November and you start seeing some of his appearances increase. It's almost like I expect to see more Danny Odom out of the gate, but I expect to see Tyson Terry having his overall reps increase by season's end, where you're going to see him in the mix, especially in Big Ten play, especially when you're going up against some of those run-heavy teams that if you have the luxury of rotating guys in, and Tyson Terry, and I think we all know, we remember, like Matt Rhule talked about how he was at Omaha North, but also with a lot of the internal conversation about his growth since that injury and how he's looked, I'd be shocked if we don't see Tyson Terry at a significant level, especially by season's end.
There's just a lot of guys there. That's part of the hard part for me, and I'm not going to list, people play different positions here, but like Sua Lefotu, Riley Van Poppel, Cam Lenhard will be an edge.
Jashir Whittington.
But Jashir Whittington, Owen Stoudemire, who we really have not talked a lot about this fall camp, is in there. Anthony Jones, although he's on the outside. Williams Nwaneri, outside guy. There's just so many bodies there. I think he'll probably rotate in. If you want to be deep enough in there.
I think so, too.
Cade Petchak.
Well,
don't forget about Cade Petchak.
And remember Petchak, and I'm glad you brought up Petchak there, Grant, because Petchak is one of those guys, kind of similar to what I'm saying about Tyson Terry, is you start seeing Petchak in more and more third down situations, more and more like moments of a game that were high leverage. You're like, damn. And you could see him holding his own, even when he was younger. So that's why I think when you look at Cade Petchak now, listed as a sophomore, like, man, I feel like that guy's been there because he was another one of those guys that kind of increased his rep count because he showed that he could be more and more impactful and effective. I could see Tyson Terry in a similar mold there.
Well, and he had the sack against USC. I mean, make no mistake, I think that answer essentially confirms he'll play this year. I mean, there's no world where Tyson Terry doesn't play down. I mean, I think there's probably no world where Odom doesn't play it down. But it was kind of a strange way of saying, well, he's in the mix to be on the bus,
in the hotel, on the field. Yeah.
It was kind of
I thought he was going to eventually gravitate in the game plan, in the offensive backfield.
He just keeps going.
Yeah,
it sounds like it was like it felt like an I think you should leave bit, and he just keeps going with like the things that he could be in the mix for. All that aside, like I think what you're saying about the comp makes sense, right? And again, does he rotate? Like, is it a situation where he gets a few different reps and then he becomes that guy that you can spell some of the top guys, or if the guy that's pushing those top guys along? Is that what he is?
And that's why I think, going back to Danny Odom, if Jeremiah Charles truly is that left corner and that starter, then I do think he is going to be in a position where you can feel a little bit more confident, because I think anytime you've got a freshman that's truly pushing you and truly challenge you and is nipping at your heels, that just sharpens it to me. That sharpens that edge. And if all that is kind of coming into play for Jeremiah Charles, like, I think that could be that healthy competition, that cliche that everyone always talks about, the healthy competition. Maybe that's a good example of it, because I think Danny Odom pushing Jeremiah Charles is going to make Jeremiah Charles a much better corner, but I also think it's going to make Danny Odom a much better, impactful young corner when it comes to his time.
They're really not tipping their hand there, I feel like.
No.
I mean, they're not tipping their hand anywhere this offseason, but they're not tipping their hand at that corner spot, because as soon as you hear one guy building up Jeremiah Charles, somebody comes in to say Victor Evans has that Florida speed, and they're building up Victor Evans too. And then, Danny gets this shout out largely because, he was asked a question about Danny Odom. I mean, those three guys right there are all hyper competitive for this spot. I mean, and it's possible and very probable they don't really know who's leading.
Well, and that's
in that race right now.
That's the other part, though, Grant, that we got to make sure everyone knows when we're talking about this. We're playing these sound bites too. Is that it's not that these guys were necessarily in some impromptu way was brought up. Like they're being asked direct questions about Tyson Terry, being asked direct questions about Danny Odom, and the coaches are responding. So it's not like, hey, who have you really liked so far? It's not like, oh, Danny Odom's the first guy brought up.
That's the word too. That's the media lingo word. Unprompted.
Yeah.
That's the word that's like, okay, if we ever say so-and-so was brought up unprompted,
yeah.
that's more of a tell
Right.
than when you get asked about Danny Odom. And then especially when Rhule goes through all this effort to name everybody that's fighting for a job at that spot, and like coaches do a good job of, again, not tipping their hand by doing that. So, that's part of the game. I'm excited to circle back to these preseason guys. We talked about Emma Johnson earlier in the show,
Yes,
Nick,
we did.
in detail. But we didn't tell you about the other Huskers that were participating.
Yeah, including
in
one
preseason
guy
action.
who's playing offensive line that maybe you didn't even realize was playing offensive
And
line.
his two compatriots.
That's right. It's like an all-Nebraska team there.
Two Buccaneers?
Yes, that's
Well,
right.
it's not compatriots.
Careful how you say that. All right, coming back, Handley and Hansen continues. We'll talk a little bit more about some of those preseason takeaways. It's AM 590 WOW.
The Husker Practice Report with Sean Callahan is brought to you by Physicians Mutual.
Physicians Mutual. Nebraska wrapped up their 9th fall camp practice on Saturday. It was a 120-play scrimmage for Matt Rhule and his football team.
Nice job today in the scrimmage. I think we came out of it pretty unscathed. Got about 120-some plays, everything from goal line to 2-minute. And pleased with that. We just got a bunch of guys that need reps to continue to master what we're asking them to do. And we'll watch the tape and see where we go.
And now Rhule's team will return to the field on Monday. 5 more practices set for next week. Still a possibility as well of another scrimmage on Saturday.
If we head into next week, the emphasis will just be on, kind of looking at this as like a test, as an assessment to see where we are depth-wise, to see where we are execution-wise. Have one last week of tremendous camp before the season gets started. So,
in other news, no major injuries happened during Saturday's scrimmage. Offensive lineman Gunnar Gatula also received his diploma in 3 years and then attended practice later on Saturday. Reporting with the Nebraska Football team in Lincoln, I'm Sean Callahan of HuskerOnline.com.
Born and raised right here, Physicians Mutual understands Nebraska values because we live them every day. For 125 years, we've kept our promise to be there when customers like you need it most. When you choose Physicians Mutual, you can rest easy knowing we will help protect what matters most to you with insurance for health, life, and retirement. Built on trust, focused on your future. Visit physiciansmutual.com.
Physicians Mutual, Physicians Mutual.
Hi, everybody. McGraw-Milhaven here, host of America at Night. When you tune in each and every night, our goal is to find interesting guests talking about interesting topics that are important to you. When you turn to cable, you get a sugar high. But when you turn to America at Night, we give you a full meal of news, sports, talk, conversation, facts, so that you can make an informed decision on the news of the day. That's our goal each and every night. McGraw-Milhaven here, host of America at Night. Come join us.
Around here, we know one thing for certain. When the skies turn dark, the power can go out in a flash. Don't be left in the dark. Register now for the Generac Power Play giveaway from AM 590 WOW and Generators for Sale. Just tell us what you want to protect when the lights go out, and you'll be automatically entered to win a professionally installed Generac whole house generator worth nearly $15,000. But don't wait. Register now at 590WOW.com. Winner will be drawn September 4th. Register today. Heartland Honors 9/11 is an initiative that unites the Omaha Metro in recognition of the 25th anniversary of September 11th. The Heartland Honors team is distributing free yard signs, which remind the community to remember 9/11 and to honor the spirit of community, service, and appreciation for first responders. To pick up a sign or to get more information, just go to heartlandhonors9-11.com. That's heartlandhonors9-11.com. Thank you for your support.
The Summer of Performance event is going on right now at Acura of Omaha. Now it's time for you to take advantage of these low payment lease offers at Acura of Omaha, 4211 South 144th Street. Always open at AcuraofOmaha.com.
Welcome back to Handley and Hansen on AM 590 WOW.
531-895-0590. Still time to be a part of the show today. AM 590 WOW. It's Handley and Hansen, Grant Hansen with Nick Handley and Justice Rhody, our producer, running the show today. Talked earlier about Emma Johnson and what a good start he had to his preseason with the Kansas City Chiefs. There's several other Huskers who were in competition, and there's two stories. I'll take the Sierra Wright one. You take the one you teased before the break, Nick, with 3 Husker offensive linemen all in one game for one particular NFL franchise.
Hell yeah, the Buccaneers. That's kind of a fun little side note as far as the amount of Huskers that are playing for the Bucs. But for some of you out there, how many knew Nash Hutmacher made the move over to offensive line?
I think most people found out this weekend.
Yeah. Ben Scott, Nash Hutmacher, and Henry Letufsky, all part of the same offensive line for Tampa Bay on Friday night. So that was cool. I'm glad. I'm just anytime we get a chance to talk to our man Henry Letufsky, we talked to him so much last year. Like I'm excited for him. But yeah, so just seeing those guys be able to share some snaps together, but also Javen Wright having 4 tackles as well. John Bullock had 2 tackles, and that's all with the Bucs, by the way. Maybe one of the more impressive ones, we need to make sure we ask Severe his thoughts because this is directly his team.
Oh,
and that is Garrett Nelson, who is now with the Saints. Garrett Nelson had 5 tackles and a sack, and the Saints win over Jacksonville as well. So,
and speaking of guys being on new teams, Cam Taylor-Britt is a Colt.
He is.
A couple of tackles for him.
Remember the draft day scene with Zach Taylor, and they go, "Hey, we got your Nebraska guy too."
Oh,
like
yeah.
They're high-fiving. They got Cam Taylor-Britt, and they're like, "And we got your Nebraska guy." Like that was like a prerequisite or something.
Speaking of Zach Taylor, he confirmed to the media earlier this weekend that Sierra Wright is no longer with the Cincinnati Bengals, who is an undrafted free agent signing. But it's not for
I wonder what he's going to go do.
Well, it's not for a dismissive reason, a la Tyke Hayes. It's actually for a pretty good reason. He is going to put his football career on hold.
What do you think he's going to do?
And go act in something. We don't know what.
Yeah, we don't know
what. That's the question. Is it gonna live up? Is it gonna go beyond playing LeBron James' son in Space Jam? We'll find out. I'm curious what in the world you think it is. Wrong answers only. The thing is, he's such a good dude, and I'm very much rooting for his success as he takes on this chapter. I really enjoyed always chatting with him last year.
I'll admit Sierra Wright was one of those guys when he came over from USC. And you knew the background, the acting background, and the fact that he did play LeBron's son in the second Space Jam and all of that, that I just wondered what type of a fit it was going to be for him. Like, did he have the full focus on football itself? Or was he always kind of looking off to the side of, what the next acting gig might be?
Yep.
From the time, and no one will ever forget that game he had against his old team at USC out in L.A. He turned out to be a pretty damn good corner. There was a lot to like about him, and there was a lot to like about just when you got into certain parts of the season and you're kind of looking around that defense like, all right, who can we rely on? Who can we rely on? Like Sierra Wright was one of those guys that you felt that you could rely on him because he had consistently played at a pretty high level. And especially when you're in that position, yeah, you're going to miss an assignment here and there, or you're going to get beat a few times. It's going to be amplified. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to make it sound like Sierra Wright was perfect, but I thought he surpassed any expectation I had because I just didn't truly, and it's very unfair for me to think, I truly didn't know how committed to football he was when he came over to Nebraska. And I found out very quickly that not only was he committed, but he turned out to be one of their better, really better members of the secondary.
Yeah, good dude. Good luck to him and all the Huskers as they continue to try to
maybe he'll
find
be
ways to make
in one of the good Ben Affleck movies, not the bad ones.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Also, quickly, just over the wire, Jordan Tyson, wide receiver, first-round draft pick for the Saints, will miss between 6 and 8 weeks, roughly 2 months, with an injury he has sustained during camp. And that was a question mark surrounding him coming into the season, and that's continued. Tomorrow, I do want to touch on, if we get a chance to, 3 quarterbacks, or heck, we could do it now. Why don't we do it now? I don't know if this is a full segment idea.
This is also one for, and no, I'm not trying to just flood the airwaves with Bears news, but this is a Big Ten alum as well. Kyle Monangai suffered a hyperextended knee and is expected to miss multiple weeks. Like Kyle Monangai, between him and DeAndre Swift, that was one hell of a 1-2 punch in the backfield.
How many weeks?
Chicago. It says a couple of weeks.
Oh, okay. So he's still on the board as a handcuff for those of you fantasy guys.
I remember when Monangai was when Rutgers came on the road in that 14-7 game, and his cleats literally melted on the sideline because of how hot it was. You heard that story about how his cleats literally melted on the sideline.
Yep.
Unbelievable.
And how they didn't have a backup pair either.
They did not.
Speaking of injuries, I did want to chime in on this. So I almost considered a Jackson Dart cold hard truth. But I strayed away from it because
this was controversial between Dan Orlovsky and
Brian Foxworth,
Dominique Foxworth.
Dominique Foxworth. Yeah. The big news is he goes into the blue tent for concussion protocol on Saturday after taking a big hit on a blown pass protection from Tyrone Tracy, who might be replaced before the day is out by a different running back, formerly of the Steelers, who was visiting the Giants earlier today.
You can't say names?
I can't. We'll keep it secret. Just kidding. So
John Harbaugh, like all of a sudden,
no,
take away your media credential?
Yeah, like Dion.
Boo. So anyway, so I there's two things I think are true at the same time, which is why I didn't pick it as a cold hard truth for me regarding Jackson Dart. The first was a lot of people were pretty disingenuous on Twitter saying, "Oh, he's in the blue tent again," blaming it as if it was his fault that his running back missed the pass protection and he got laid out. The thing that people forget around his conversation a lot is that, okay, everybody's bragging about he's gone in the tent 6 times in his career. Well, he's only ever been diagnosed for the concussion once. And this is why everything is sort of spewed to where it is with him, is because that was a pretty important concussion. It was the Bears game.
I remember that.
In November. And that was the time that he actually did truly deserve to go into the tent for a concussion eval. And they didn't put him in there. They screwed up. They let him go back out there. And ever since, that's where they, I think, have been way, way tighter on him than normal. Here's the thing.
But I feel like
I can admit at the same time, I can hold that up to be true, that the NFL has been very, very tight when it comes to Jackson Dart regarding any sort of hit after that experience, which they screwed up. The other is he needs to do better this year about taking care of himself. 105 times he was contacted last season, 5th most by any quarterback in the NFL. Both things can be true at the same time. That he doesn't have a concussion problem. He's been evaluated 5 times, or 6 times, and has been cleared 5 times. The problem is he needs to stop putting himself in situations where he can be evaluated for these sorts of things. And so I think both are true, which is why, again, I didn't come down on a firm side of this. I held it out of the cold, hard truth as a result.
It's Handley and Hansen, AM 590 WOW. This is the thing that people need to get past, though, the optics of the blue tent.
I agree.
It doesn't mean you're going to the blue tent, you're to be never heard from again, or you're out, you're done from the game. There's been many times, in fact, in the last 2 years, I can count several times when someone's gone in, you're like, uh-oh. And it's just because they want more opportunity to evaluate them. And so they go in, they come back out, and that player is playing again. I just feel like everybody thinks that once you go into the blue tent, then it's only for a concussion.
Right.
And you're not coming back in the game, where we've seen a lot of times that's not the case. So this optics of, blue tent, he's in the blue tent. I'm sorry, but I would prefer any team that I'm rooting for, or just the decent thing for our human race, for people to make sure we're taking precaution when it comes to this sport, and it comes to the rapid rate of which these guys take contact and shots, that even if it's borderline and you're not really sure, go ahead
and again
evaluate them. What's the big deal?
He had the Philly game working against him as well. So he had 2 separate controversies in about a 3-week span regarding the blue tent, where Brian Daboll went in there, which was a violation, and Jackson Dart did not summon him in there. And then the Bears situation when he should have been in there and they didn't put him in there. Like Colin Cowherd today is on TV saying that's been a part of his brand. That's part of Jackson Dart's brand now, and he needs to fix that. It's like he didn't make that his brand. Like Twitter has glommed onto that to the point that that's become his brand.
Sure.
And he's got 2 separate controversies, which aren't necessarily his fault, that have made that part of the deal.
And I just say it's anyone's fault, because the people, the spotters on the medical staff that are
they screwed up. They screwed up in the Bears game.
But still, exactly. If you don't,
clearly,
obviously, you need to err on the side of caution, because if you're wrong, you get him in the tent, he clears protocol, they're back in the game.
Yep.
Boom. You got it. Might not even sit out more than a couple of plays. I think people need to get over that. That's just how I look at it. All right, going to come back, tell you what's on tap as we wrap up a Monday show here. It's Handley and Hansen on AM 590 WOW.
Time now for Huskers All Access. Brought to you by Access Bank. Here for a reason.
Justin Evans, kind enough to join us. Let's just start with Jeep Wade, okay? And just the influence, new offensive line voice with that group, but you being one of the veterans and really one of the anchors of it, how's that transition been for you guys?
Yeah, the transition has been good. You know, him coming in as a new coach, when you do have those older players or those experienced players, a lot of the times the new coaches can lean on those experienced players who have been there to, you know, kind of just understand the team and understand the process and understand the O-line room as a whole. And I think it's been a good spring and a good summer just under his leadership and just understanding the new coach and being able to adapt to a new coach. It is hard when you're used to a certain coaching style or you're used to a certain way of things going, and then to have somebody new come in and be able to adapt. I think I've done a great job at doing that as well.
What have you been cooking lately? Like, you know you love to do that. Like, have you tried something new?
I've been grilling a lot more lately. I'm trying to perfect the grill. The grill is hard.
Gas grill, charcoal, or Blackstone?
Well, we have a Blackstone and a charcoal grill at my house. So I've been into smash burgers a lot lately.
Yep.
Okay. Smash burgers have been my kick for the past month.
This has been Huskers All Access, brought to you by Access Bank. For the full interview, visit our Facebook page, Husker Radio on Boomer. Husker Nation. New local nonprofit customers can earn up to $10,000 back for their mission when they open a community access account at Access Bank. Organizations that bank with us get rewarded with donations back to support their work. The more you save, the more you earn for your cause. That's Access to Impact, helping nonprofits across Husker Nation make an even bigger difference. Access Bank, member FDIC. Restrictions and eligibility apply.
Hey friends, step up to the tea at Bushwood Lounge, Omaha's home for handcraft cocktails done right. From the perfect old-fashioned to creative signatures, every drink is made fresh. And here's the sweetest lie on the course. Happy hour runs 2 to 7 every single day with $1 off every drink. That's right, every drink. Bushwood Lounge on the north side of 114th and Dodge in Omaha. Great cocktails, great company, no membership required. Bushwood Lounge, your happy hour headquarters.
Saving money when you shop at Menards. We have an excellent in-stock selection of Whirlpool appliances. We carry great brands at the best prices. Ready to take home today. Whether you want new laundry appliances or need upgrades for your kitchen, you'll find appliances that'll make your life easier. View our selection of Whirlpool appliance options today on Menards.com. Plus, check out our weekly flyer and find plenty of great deals happening this week.
Save big money at Menards.
Welcome back to Handley and Hansen on AM 590 WOW.
Hey, big thanks to our guests on the show today, including Lauren Michelson, Lincoln Arneal, and Evan Bland. If you missed any of the show, be sure to check out the podcast. You can get it on the app, the AM 590 WOW app. Just go to your Apple or Google Play Store, or just go to 590WOW.com, where you can get all of the previous shows and segments, or if you just want to watch the show each day, right there.
There you go.
590WOW.com. What is on tap tonight? Right here on AM 590. Of course, they will have Sports Nightly. We'll have to say they. Huskers Radio Network will have Sports Nightly coming your way right at 6 o'clock with Jessica Cootie and voice of the Huskers, Kyle Crooks. It'll be Campbell Flynn at 6:25, Allie Seach at 6:40, and Ella Rudney at 7:25, talking some Nebraska soccer. That is coming up on Sports Nightly following us. No Monday Night Football yet. I look forward to a Monday night when we can talk about that as well.
One day soon.
We're getting there. We're getting close. Excuse me, I have to cough real quick. Gosh dang. Allergies have been superb over the weekend. But in Major League Baseball tonight, you got a couple games that are underway right now. The O's and the Rays are in the bottom of the third, tied ball game 1-1. Bottom of the first, Phillies and Marlins are underway scoreless, and Justice's Cardinals are at the Reds, also scoreless in the bottom of the first tonight. Tigers are at the Pirates. D-backs are at the Red Sox. Padres are at the Mets. Those are all 6:30 games. Your Royals hosting the A's at 6:40. Twins and Braves. Also the Cubs and White Sox. Yeah.
How about that?
A little Windy City rivalry right there.
Speaking of the Cubs, and speaking of my Cards, as they beat the Reds earlier 2-1 today, did you guys see what took place over the weekend with old Joshua Baez coming up? First Major League appearance.
He did okay.
He hit some home runs.
He did very, very well. 3, to be precise. That was pretty good.
I told my buddy, I said, hey, he might hit 3 homers today. Guess what? He's going 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts the next day. Next day, he went 0 for 4 with 2 strikeouts. That was close.
Yeah, that was good.
close.
Well, you get the little crosstown rivalry between the Cubs and White Sox. Go Cubs. You're not going to hear me say that much, but I hate those.
Go
White
Cubs,
Sox.
go.
I'm really not happy with Cleveland, by the way, but that's a story for another day. Then your late games tonight, you'll have the Dodgers and Rockies. That's 7:40, and that is what you got in Major League Baseball. I'm telling you guys, you need to watch Widow's Bay too if you get some.
I'm waiting. I'm waiting to check enough boxes with HBO that I can switch over and get Apple TV again, because I like flip back and forth. I finally completed my 10 years long, nearly a decade long quest to watch 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri.
Yeah,
did that this weekend.
What'd you think?
It's a good movie.
Yeah, I thought it was good.
It's got some charm to it. It's got some humor to it. It covers some pretty heavy stuff. So just that going in. But the performances are great.
Yeah.
So I did that, but like I love Slow Horses on Apple. Foundation is a great show on Apple. Like I haven't seen Pluribus yet. So I'm waiting for like a chance to just blitz through a bunch of things and buy Apple for like 3 months and re-up my sub there. But I got to get through House of the Dragon, some other stuff on HBO first.
With the HBO thing, did you see this would have been more of an animation from Nick's time in his early teenage years and
Saved by the Bell? Yeah, it was great.
No, Robot Chicken is coming back to HBO.
What the heck is that?
It's a good show.
You don't know what Robot Chicken is? Oh, now I have to familiarize you. So Adult Swim used to have this cartoon, whereas Robot Chicken, this was is his name? It's Seth Green, I believe.
Green,
yes. Seth Green is the comic. It's an original claymation, more adult themed. It takes some more risque approaches at some major historical events and also some cartoons that would be around on Cartoon Network, Adult Swim, HBO, that universe and that sphere. So during the course of the cartoon, they would take pot shots. They would do Scooby-Doo spoofs. They would do some Superman and Batman and different spoofs like that. And they would take like more adult themes and more adult approaches because it's Adult Swim. So that's getting a reboot and coming back. And there's been people making jokes about that online, but super excited for that because that was really funny the first time around.
It was good, yes.
Good.
Space Ghost also did a little crossover with them too.
Yes.
Space Ghost and Robot Chicken. That was fun stuff.
Of HBO, did you guys see the episode last night of Lanterns?
No, because I don't have HBO.
Which was set in Rushville, Nebraska.
Gordon? Near Gordon?
Near Gordon.
Yeah.
I.e. Gordon Rushville.
I have a buddy.
Gordon Rushville got a little run.
One of my good buddies, Scott, lives out in Gordon. He's living the high life. He's like a baseball coach, and I think he works he does a radio show and everything. Yeah.
That's a pretty sweet gig.
Always good to hear about Gordon.
Yeah. So
even though this was Rushville.
That made an appearance in HBO's Green Lantern show last night.
Can you give me some context on why Rushville was in
they're
it?
like hunting an alien there or something, I think.
Oh, I'm pretty normal out there.
I don't know how many aliens live in Rushville as of now.
This is not the first time that Nebraska's actually been mentioned.
I mean, a lot of UFO sightings out there, too.
No,
in comic books?
In comic books. There's a lot. So in the X-Men series, Scott Summers is known as Cyclops. Him and Jean Grey have a kid, and he's super powerful. And they store him in an orphanage in Nebraska, and that's where they stow him away for safekeeping, basically in an orphanage in Nebraska. But it's not the first time that Nebraska's actually been mentioned in comic books because that's also a mention.
Okay, interesting. Well, and then there's apparently some Nebraska football trivia that occurred at some point in the episode. I haven't watched it yet. And then there was, kind of harkens back to Better Call Saul, which everybody loved the end of Better Call Saul, at least in Nebraska. So,
not to end it. I mean, this is kind of where we talk about what we're viewing and everything. Not to end on a bad note, but sad news about Hayden Panettiere, who was pronounced dead earlier today. And of course, a lot of people remember her from Nashville. So I never watched Nashville, but I do remember Hayden Panettiere. Is it Panettiere? I think it's Panettiere. But she was the coach, his daughter, Coach Yost's daughter, and Remember the Titans. And I remember when she was rising through the ranks through Nashville, as that was like a massively popular show with her and is it Connie Britton, the Coach Taylor's wife from Friday Night Lights? They're both in that show, and it was massively successful. I remember, I'm like, why does that name sound familiar? Why does she kind of look familiar? And I was like, oh yeah, that's the young girl from Remember the Titans.
She was
But
in more
she
things
passed
than
away.
I thought.
She was in a lot, yeah, and
Mhm.
only 36 years old. But that's very, very unfortunate. And I know that's all over the news right now as far as the circumstances behind it. But very sad there. Also, I'm considering. I don't know if I'm going to do it, guys. I've basically purged for a week without the fall and rise of Reggie Dinkins.
Oh,
Thank God.
Yeah, I'm kind of itching now. I feel like I want to give it a shot again. This is what
That's okay.
This is what Tracy Morgan does. You think, all right, I'm getting away from this. This is just ridiculous.
if
And
we
then you're
never-
like, you know what? It's just kind of crazy enough to work.
If we never talked about this on the show again, it'd be great.
But if we kept talking about it, it'd also be really funny. Is it like one of those series, Nick, where
it's so stupid.
Is it one of those series where it's like an earworm song where you may get away from it from 1 week and you're like, this is the worst thing I've ever heard, and you come back in a week and you're like, and it's stuck in my head.
There's so many better things that you
that's
could
a good
watch.
way to
Have you
describe
watched
it.
Slow Horses?
No, I haven't.
See, Slow Horses, better option for you.
We're getting near the end of the
Yeah.
first season of
Widow's
Bay.
Yeah,
It's
go to Slow Horses
pretty
immediately.
good.
You'll love it. Gary Oldman is so freaking good. This might be the best thing that Gary Oldman is.
I just want to know how Reggie Dinkins rises. I know about the fall; it's well documented, but I want to know what the rise looks like.
Is this
for
a
Reggie
one-off?
Dinkins? The Reggie Dinkins?
Yeah, like was it like a limited series? Or are they doing multiple seasons? Because you might not get the rise.
I don't know. That's a good question.
Yeah, you have to pay for the DLC for the rise. You only get to see the fall.
The fall.
Hey guys, it's all the way up to a 6.9 out of 10. Nice.
See, there you go. It's getting there.
All of Nick Hanley's 5-star reviews.
Probably is. I have not reviewed it, but I don't know. It's
Everybody go review bomb the fall and rise. Of Reggie
I
Dinkins.
am really, really conflicted on that show. I just don't know if I like it or not, but whatever. All right. Again, appreciate our guests coming on for Justice Rhody and Grant Hansen. I'm Nick Hanley. Appreciate you listening to Handley and Hansen on AM 590 WOW. Sports Nightly coming up next right here. Don't go anywhere. Look forward to talking to you tomorrow at 2 o'clock. Until then, have a great night.